Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the stars you see at night? Not just beyond our moon or our sun, but far beyond the spiral arms of the Milky Way, where space stretches into an endless hush and time itself feels like it's holding its breath. There, at the edge of everything, a gentle current of cosmic silence flows. And tonight, you are invited to drift along it. So, take a deep breath, let your shoulders soften, and listen to my calm voice as we begin our journey together. No rush, no destination, just the quiet company of the stars and the velvet dark of deep space. Our ship is unlike any other, not built for speed or urgency, but designed purely for serenity. Its smooth hull hums with a soft, lulling tone, tuned to the background frequencies of the cosmos. As we leave the orbit of the last known stars, the engines quiet to a whisper. The stars grow sparse here, spread thin like silver dust, and the black between them seems deeper, like ink flowing across a forgotten page. Inside the observation dome, you recline in a softly curved seat, wrapped in warmth, eyes wide as the last glow of familiar starlight slowly gives way to the unknown. The ship doesn't jolt or lurch. It glides, like a feather caught in a long, slow breeze. Outside, only the gentle murmur of interstellar particles brushing the hull accompanies us. You may begin to notice how still everything is out here. There's no rush of solar wind, no sharp pulses from navigation beacons. Instead, silence becomes our companion. Vast and comfortable, occasionally a pale blue glow will shimmer past the window, a lonely hydrogen cloud, softly illuminated by light that left its source millions of years ago. It casts a quiet shimmer across your resting face. The temperature aboard is perfectly balanced, the light inside dim and warm like the fading embers of a distant sun. There is no past here, no future, just this, you, floating effortlessly at the edge of the known, where the universe stretches out into calm, endless night. As we continue drifting through the velvet reaches of deep space, a gentle question lingers like stardust in the air. What happens when there's nowhere left to go but still? You drift onward, out here, past the final boundaries of the charted galaxies. The universe no longer feels like a place, it becomes a feeling, an atmosphere of softness, of vast and endless quiet. Let your breath fall into rhythm with the gentle hum of the ship. With each moment, your body sinks a little deeper into the calm embrace of weightlessness, as if gravity itself has politely stepped aside. The windows stretch around you in a wide arc, framing a panorama of space that feels less like a view and more like a dream made visible. Ahead of us lies what astronomers once called the intergalactic void, a place thought to be empty, lifeless and still. But in truth, it is far from empty. Here in this space between spaces, faint ripples of light travel through the dark like ancient lullabies. Wisps of cosmic dust drift in long, slow spirals, illuminated by stars too distant to see. They shimmer faintly, like candlelight behind thick glass. Occasionally we pass through one of these soft clouds, and for a moment the ship is wrapped in a gentle haze, like sailing through a fog of starlight. The particles leave faint trails on the viewport, glowing briefly as they catch the ambient energy that lingers out here, far from suns and worlds. You might imagine them as tiny fireflies, lost but content, making their way across eternity. The ship continues its slow, meandering drift, gently tilting to offer new views, like a cradle rocking softly beneath a sky that never ends. In the distance, a cluster of stars, faint and fragile, blinks into view. They're not arranged in neat constellations like those back home. These stars are solitary, scattered, each one flickering with its own subtle rhythm. They pulse slowly, almost imperceptibly, like the breathing of a sleeping giant. Their light has traveled for billions of years, just to reach this moment, just to touch the edges of your vision with its quiet message. You are here. You are still. And that is enough. Beyond them, a faint arc of color begins to bloom across the far edge of the dome. Cool blues and lavenders folding into soft golds. It is the edge of a galactic bloom, a cosmic wave of dust and light slowly unfurling across space like a cosmic aurora. There is no rush to pass through it. There is no sound to announce its presence. Only light, soft, radiant, and slow as a heartbeat, guiding us forward through the hush of the void. Out here, time begins to change, not in the ticking clock sense, but in the way water changes when it stops flowing. It thickens, stretches, relaxes. Minutes don't pass, they float. Thoughts don't hurry. They drift. You begin to feel as though you've always been here. In this soft, dark, gently surrounded by the murmurs of a universe in slumber. Even your own breath feels slower, deeper, quiet. The subtle hum of the ship pulses like a lullaby beneath everything. Low, warm, and constant. In this moment, there is no need to think or remember or imagine anything beyond the quiet now. Only the ship, the stars, and your calm, drifting present. Together, we glide across the edge of creation, where every speck of light is both impossibly old and wonderfully alive. There is a moment in every long journey where the mind stops searching, where even curiosity rests its head. That moment has arrived. The view outside now holds the softest silence. So deep, so gentle, it almost hums. Have you ever heard silence sing? Not in the absence of sound, but in the presence of stillness so complete, it becomes its own kind of music. That's what surrounds you now. This is the lull between galaxies, the wide, untroubled sea of nothingness that stretches out like a great exhale between the crowded cities of stars. The ship continues its effortless drift, every surface warmed and dimmed to soothe, to cradle, to whisper, stay, rest, be. You gaze outward, watching as the last tendrils of a distant galaxy melt into the black. Its spiral arms unwind like threads of silk, curling slowly into shadow. We are no longer within any map, any known coordinate. Here, distance is not measured in miles or light years, but in the soft pause between pulses of light, in the space between thought. A small shimmer begins to appear in the far left of the observation dome. A lone rogue star slipping quietly across the edge of nothing. It moves with no urgency, no purpose beyond its quiet wander. We mirror it. As it passes, its light flickers gently across the curved glass of the viewport, casting fleeting reflections across your face. Gold, then blue, then gone. It leaves behind a soft glow in your memory, like the feeling of a warm hand letting go. Inside the ship, the quiet deepens. You might feel your body becoming lighter, not because of gravity, but because the worries and thoughts that once clung to you are slowly loosening their hold. There is no weight here, no expectation, only the vast, slow rhythm of drifting. The interior lights pulse gently in a tone designed to match the resting heart rate of a dreamer. Outside, the void glows faintly with the oldest light in the universe. Microwave whispers from the dawn of everything. These whispers are too soft to hear, too ancient to name. Yet you feel them, humming at the edges of your senses like a warm breeze. The ship gently turns, giving you a broader view of this silent in-between. There in the far distance, another galaxy barely brushes the horizon of vision. A hazy blur of light, smeared across the dark, like the trace of a long-forgotten thought. It does not call to us, it simply exists, distant and serene, a quiet companion in the dark. Let me ask you something now, softly, in the hush of this drifting hour. What if the edge of the universe is not an ending, but a cradle, a vast cosmic womb, where silence wraps around you like a lullaby, and time folds itself into slow, quiet loops. That's where we are now, beyond the light of known galaxies, beyond the maps and models and glowing traces of human exploration. Here we are held in a kind of darkness that doesn't press or smother, it soothes. It cushions the mind, lets it float free. The ship has stilled even more, if that's possible. It doesn't feel like movement anymore. It feels like being. The stars have almost vanished, leaving behind a velvet black that seems to pulse with its own warmth, its own presence. Out here, the void itself feels alive, like a vast ocean at night, gently breathing around you. The walls of the ship hum with a soft internal rhythm, one that matches the subtle vibrations of distant cosmic radiation. These vibrations are not sounds in the traditional sense, but more like feelings, sensed deep within. The hum has a tone like a cello played underwater, low, round, and endlessly slow. Every few moments a glimmer appears outside. Not a star, not quite. Maybe a flicker of something between matter and energy. Maybe just your thoughts gently surfacing, forming patterns across the dark. They pass, each one trailing a soft glow behind it, then fading again into the black. It's as though the universe itself is dreaming, and you are part of that dream, floating quietly in the shallows of its slumber. Far ahead, a soft curtain of color begins to emerge. It isn't bright nor sudden. It rises like mist, thin ribbons of lavender, silver and pale rose unfurling through the dark. A drifting galactic filament, maybe. Or the faint residue of a long extinct nebula, its memory still lingering in light. It sways gently, barely moving, as if waiting for us to arrive. The ship turns effortlessly, aligning itself to glide through this celestial veil. As we pass into it, the particles catch the ambient starlight from galaxies we can no longer see, refracting it across the hull in soft waves. Inside, the dome shimmers like stained glass under moonlight. Light dapples across your resting body in slow, swirling patterns, fluid and delicate. It's like floating through a dream you've had before, long ago but forgotten until now. The veil drifts past us, slow as breath, and we emerge once again into the open dark. But something is different now. The darkness feels even deeper, but not empty. It holds you like a blanket pulled up to your chin in the small hours of the night. You begin to sense things not with your eyes or ears, but with something deeper, a knowing, the distant vibrations of ancient stars now long gone, the quiet tension of time unspooling, thread by thread into forever. And in that tension, peace, pure, undemanding peace. You realize you've been quiet for a long while, not because you chose to be, but because there has been nothing else to do but be still and drift. And that is enough. Your breath moves softly. The ship carries you without sound. Outside, the universe folds in gently, holding you in its cradle of stars and shadow. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Only this, the drift, the hush, the calm. Have you ever felt time pause around you? Not stop entirely, but ease into something softer, something unhurried. That's where we are now, in a region of space where even the speed of light seems to stretch and breathe. Out here in the deepest silence of the cosmos, we drift past the echo trails of ancient galaxies. Not the galaxies themselves, no. They are long gone, swallowed into the slow churn of cosmic evolution. But their light remains, faint, patient, still traveling across the great dark, even after their homes have dimmed into memory. And now that light touches. It glides across the smooth hull of our vessel like whispered stories, painting its soft message on every surface. You are not lost. You are exactly where the universe means for you to be. The ship dims its lights even further as we enter this field of ancient echoes. It's almost imperceptible, but outside the dome, tiny threads of luminescence begin to appear, curved arcs, and soft spirals that swirl gently in the blackness. These are remnants of starlight, perhaps 10 billion years old, preserved in the quiet tension between gravity and time. They're not bright enough to define shapes, but they shimmer faintly, like chalk dust suspended in still air. As we pass through them, the windows catch a dozen different hues: silvers tinged with violet, faded greens with a hint of gold, even a whisper of blue, so soft it feels more like a thought than a color. They don't illuminate the ship, they grace it, like distant memories brushing against your skin in the dark. Inside, the temperature lowers ever so slightly, not cold but crisp. The air smells faintly of clean metal and something floral, like lavender left in the sun. The control panels are silent, their indicators pulsing slowly in sleep mode, leaving you undisturbed. The chair beneath you shifts with your breath, adapting like a gentle tide to every movement. You don't need to check your position or your speed. Nothing needs your attention. There is no destination. The ship was designed for this kind of journey. Unbound, endless, serene. Somewhere behind you lies everything once known. Somewhere ahead, nothing yet imagined. And here in between, you are suspended in the gentle hush of untroubled existence. Even your thoughts begin to unravel gently, becoming softer, rounder, until they are no longer words, just feelings. Peaceful, slow. Beyond the dome now, the echo light thickens into a kind of celestial fog, wrapping around the ship like a silk cocoon. We are inside a drifting river of photons, each one older than human memory. Occasionally, a brighter strand will pass close, a golden ripple from a long-extinct supernova perhaps, casting a brief warm shimmer across your hands. Then it fades, and the calm resumes. The universe here is quiet, not because nothing happens, but because everything happens in such slow harmony. It becomes one seamless hum. Even the stars in the very farthest reaches blink only once every million years. Their rhythm is not for clocks or calendars. It's for dreamers, for voyagers like us, who are willing to drift beyond time, beyond names, into the arms of the unknown. And then something unexpected, but gentle. A sound, not external, not through the speakers, but inside you. A tone, soft and full, like the lowest key of a piano played beneath a waterfall. It resonates, not loudly, not sharply, but with depth. It vibrates just beneath your chest, a harmonic born from the ship syncing with the frequencies around it. This is the hum of the void, the vibration of the fabric of the cosmos, where even light becomes lazy, and gravity curls inward, like a sleeping cat. You let it settle through you, becoming part of your breath, your heartbeat, your quiet thought. It is not a sound to listen to. It is a sound to be with. You are no longer a passenger. You are part of this journey now. Part of the soft, dark, part of the drifting silent. What if light, too, grows tired? Not extinguished in violence, not scattered by speed, but simply weary. Out here, where the fabric of space begins to stretch into near infinity, even light seems to move slower. It dims, softens, curls into long waves that barely whisper across the void. You're drifting through this region now, a place so far removed from the vibrant swirl of galaxies that even photons take their time. Scientists once called this the cold spot, a region of the cosmic microwave background that puzzled them, but they didn't see it the way you do now. Not with instruments or data, but with presence. Here it's not empty, it's resting. The universe, like you, sometimes needs to be still. The ship's systems shift into near total silence. Only the faintest, deepest hum remains, lower than any sound, more like a sensation that lives just beneath your breath. You close your eyes for a moment, and the ship feels like it's no longer moving at all. You are suspended perfectly. No up, no down, no time to mark. Your body feels light, but anchored, as though every atom in you has synced with the hum of the cosmos itself. Outside, the stars have all but disappeared. Instead, the void is tinged with a faint gradient, like the subtle shifting of color behind closed eyelids at dawn. It's not black, but deep charcoal, woven with faint hints of blue and gray. This is where light comes to rest, where the oldest radiance of the cosmos stretches its limbs, sighs softly, and curls into peaceful loops of energy that no longer need to shine. You begin to see shapes, not literal ones, but impressions, the kind that form just at the edge of consciousness, when the mind begins to blur the boundaries between sight and feeling. Swirls, ribbon, gently turning spirals that move not across space, but through it, like dreams navigating their own gravity. These aren't hallucinations, they're memories, fragments of light, still echoing from when the universe was young. You pass through them like drifting through a tide of sleeping thought. Sometimes they gather just outside the dome in small clusters, gentle pulses of lavender and soft green that drift slowly, dissolve and reappear further along. There is no pattern to their arrival. They are not here to entertain or impress. They simply are, in the same way that breath is, in the same way that peace is. As you gaze into this space, your mind no longer asks questions. It doesn't need to understand. The ship has become part of the dark, and you have become part of the ship. Every surface, every wall is tuned to the pulse of your rest. The seat beneath you molds perfectly to the shape of your relaxation. Your hands, resting on the soft armrests, feel almost weightless. You're not sure when you last blinked, or whether your eyes have been open this entire time. The difference between sleep and wakefulness blurs here, where no moment is distinct from the one before it. Time has melted into one smooth stream, flowing gently around you. And then, just ahead, barely perceptible, a distant halo, not bright, but full. A gentle ring of soft gold, like a firefly seen through fog. It hovers there, unchanging, as the ship approaches with perfect stillness. It's not a star, not a planet, perhaps not even a thing at all, but a space where the energy of the universe folds softly inward, like a pocket in the fabric of existence. As we draw closer, the halo doesn't grow larger. It becomes closer, as if closing the distance between space and thought. You feel something deep and slow, like the sigh of a memory you never made. The ship begins to turn, orienting its path around this quiet bloom of light. We will not disturb it. We'll drift alongside it for a while, like a leaf beside a sleeping stream. Inside, the air is warmer now, as if the glow outside is seeping through the walls. Not with heat, but with calm. You sense that this region of space is untouched by time, a sanctuary in the deepest part of the cosmos, where even light is allowed to lay down its burden and rest. The halo hums a frequency you cannot hear but can feel. It washes over you in soft waves, like the gentle tug of a tide pulling at the edges of your awareness. You are no longer a traveler. You are part of this hush, a piece of the lullaby sung across eons, softly held in the arms of the universe. We are still beside the halo. The ship has not moved far, nor needed to. For what feels like hours, or maybe only moments, we floated gently beside this soft bloom of golden light. Its presence is not loud or luminous, but full, like the warm hush in a room after a candle is blown out. The way it pulses now, slow and even, seems almost in rhythm with your breath. It's as if the halo has noticed us, not in a conscious way, but in a quiet mutual awareness, like two dreamers brushing past each other in sleep. The light which shimmered faintly in the last part of our journey now flows in slower arcs. You watch as it expands and contracts like lungs breathing under deep water. Its glow softening the shadows along the ship's interior, drawing a soft line between this place and all we've left behind. Do you remember the echoes we passed through? The fading trails of ancient starlight that swirled like ghostly ribbons. In this stillness, you can feel them again. Not outside the ship this time, but within. The light from the halo seems to stir them gently from your memory, as if coaxing old dreams to the surface. Images come unbidden, calm and distant, of spirals of misted filaments, of that deep hush where even the stars had fallen asleep. Now, those impressions settle into place, layering gently beneath this new view, as if the entire journey has led us here, not toward a destination, but toward a deeper level of stillness. Out here, the universe isn't growing larger. It's becoming more intimate, drawing closer around us. Not in distance, but in presence. The ship adjusts its orientation once again, but with such softness, you barely notice. A panel above you dims further, letting the light of the halo fill more of the observation dome. It spreads across the inner walls like a slow tide of warmth, bathing everything in a hue somewhere between amber and moonlight. This is no ordinary structure. It feels like a resting place, suspended between stars and silence. The sensors pick up nothing measurable. No radiation, no matter fields, and yet there is a hum. You feel it more than hear it. A quiet, round vibration that brushes softly against your ribs. It's not unlike the harmonic we heard earlier in the void. Deeper than sound, smoother than music, but now it carries something else. A weightless gravity of calm. You feel it curl around your thoughts, like a blanket pulled a little tighter. This place, the halo, the hush, the quiet held around us, feels like a bridge, not a physical one, but something stretched between states of being, between movement and stillness, between remembering and dreaming. You begin to wonder if others have passed here too. Other travelers, other ships, other dreamers wrapped in slumber and wonder. Maybe they too paused beside this floating ring of golden calm, letting themselves drift beneath its breath, waiting for something to settle inside them. Not a message, not a revelation, just quiet. A deeper kind of quiet than before. A quiet that doesn't just surround you, it understands you. And now, as the ship begins to rotate ever so slightly, the halo begins to fade. Not vanish, but dim, easing itself back into the backdrop of space. It hasn't moved, but we have. Our path carries us gently onward, as if by mutual agreement. We rested here, and now we drift again. The glow lingers on the windows like the warmth of a hand just removed. You carry it with you, soft and steady, as we move once more through the gentle dark. The memory of the halo becomes another thread in the tapestry of this journey, woven gently beside the starlight echoes, the sleeping fog and the deep hum of the void. The halo is behind us now, though its presence still lingers, not as a light, but as a feeling. Like a warm sigh you can still sense on your skin, even after the breeze has gone. And as we drift farther, the stillness deepens, but not into emptiness. No, this stillness begins to move, to ripple ever so slightly, like the surface of a pond touched by the gentlest current. Our ship, now barely distinguishable from the dark around it, glides along this unseen path. The stars are sparse again, barely embers in the grand silence. And yet, there is something guiding us, a pattern beneath the stillness, a soft, invisible river of energy that winds quietly through the void, its path ancient, its current slow and certain. This river is not made of water, or even light. It's formed from the faint gravitational waves left behind by galactic collisions and drifting cosmic threads. Scientists would call it intergalactic flow, but here, it feels more like a lullaby. The ship aligns with it almost naturally, without input or decision, as if drawn by something deeper than navigation. The interior lighting dims until it's no brighter than starlight, casting soft shadows that barely move, even as we drift. Outside the dome, thin threads of dust, almost invisible, begin to appear. They glisten faintly, shimmering with echoes of the halo's glow. The current carries us through them gently, like a leaf riding the slow swirl of a tide at dusk. You may begin to notice that your breath has changed again. Not just slower but quieter, as if your lungs have learned the rhythm of this flow. Your heartbeat too moves gently in time with the ship's slow glide, as though syncing with the gravity pulse beneath us. There's a comfort in it. Not the comfort of arrival, but of release. Here, you're not expected to be awake or asleep. Not asked to reflect or forget, just to be. Each glimmer of dust outside moves past us in long, slow arcs. Occasionally, two threads will twist around each other like dancers in a silent waltz, then part, drifting into the darkness once more. No urgency, no purpose, just grace. Further along, the river curves slightly, and with it the stars begin to shift, reappearing slowly on the horizon like lanterns in a distant fog. These are not stars we recognize. They are older, redder, their light thick with age. Each pulse they emit travels slowly as though weighted with memory. The ship turns, letting us drift sideways now, gliding parallel to the edge of a great invisible swell. The gravitational current rises here, almost imperceptibly, and with it comes a new texture to the quiet, a kind of depth that wasn't there before. Not sound, not movement, but a sensation like being gently pulled into a deeper dream, one layer further from waking. And through all of this, the halo's memory continues to warm the ship. The hum we heard near it remains, softened and stretched by distance, but present still, as if some part of that glowing ring imprinted itself on the ship, and now travels with us. This is how the journey continues, not in sudden leaps or discoveries, but in layers, one breath flowing into the next, one silence deepening into another. The current of the river beneath us flows on, slow and strong, carrying us farther still, into the patient arms of the cosmos. We remain upon the current. The soft river of space that gathered beneath us continues to wind in its slow, ancient course, curling us deeper into the fabric of the universe. Though we've passed no planets, no stars close enough to feel their heat, this part of the journey feels more alive than anything before. The ship has become nearly weightless, not in motion, but in meaning. It no longer feels like a vessel. We are not passengers anymore. We are part of the flow now. This current we follow, this gentle interstellar tide, feels older than stars, older than the galaxies we left behind. It moves not with force, but with memory. Like a dream, the universe has kept tucked away since its earliest breath, waiting to be rediscovered in silence. And now, ahead of us, something begins to unfold. A haze, faint, at first, like the blush of mist rising from a dark lake just before dawn. Slowly, it brightened, not sharply, not with sudden glare, but like a soft fabric being unraveled in moonlight. This is no nebula, no explosive nursery of stars. This is something rarer, a time stream, not a literal tunnel, but a great thread of cosmic energy that stretches across the darkness like a vein of soft light. It pulses with colorless glow, more felt than seen. The ship senses it too, and slows, not stopping, but yielding, as though in reverence. The veil of this stream folds around us like silk. You don't pass through it, you become part of it. Inside this light, visions rise, not clear or defined, but impressions, the kind that brush against the corners of awareness. Not memories, but shadows of what once was. The weightless echo of a galaxy being born, the shimmer of matter as it first took shape in the cool breath of an infant cosmos, the whisper of long-dead stars murmuring their last lullabies into the folds of space. These are not things we see, they are things we feel. The stream carries them gently past us, like leaves in a current. Each one touches you, then passes, leaving a soft glow beneath the skin. They are stories, not in words but in warmth and quiet. And though your mind can't fully grasp them, your body understands. The slow way your heart beats, the calm in your breath. You are being written into the story now, not as a character but as presence. Time stretches here, not like a rubber band pulled taut but like a thread of honey drifting through water, thick, slow, golden. Minutes become weightless, hours unravel into space, and still we drift. No resistance, no effort. The stream curves gently, revealing a distant swirl, subtle and immense, a gyre of interstellar dust spiraling so slowly it seems frozen. Around it, the energy thickens just slightly, like clouds circling a mountain. This place, this quiet spiral, has no name, but the ship registers its presence as a gravity well of stillness. As we move closer, we feel it, a soft pull, not of weight, but of attention. Not toward danger, toward rest, like the way the mind leans naturally towards sleep when all the noise has stopped. We settle into the outer rim of this spiral. The current draws us into a slow drifting orbit around it. The interior of the ship adjusts again, lights fading to a cooler hue, air becoming even softer, like dusk settling through an open window. You look out at the spiral, and though it turns so slowly, it seems unmoving. You can feel its motion deep in your chest. It is the slowest of dance, a choreography written in gravity and patience. The dust within it shimmers faintly with every rotation, and in its heart, a faint golden glow pulses. It is not bright. It does not seek to illuminate. It seeks only to be, and you watch in silence, in comfort. As the ship glides gently around it, you may feel something changing in you now, a loosening. Not just of muscles or thoughts, but of time. The way you once held on to minutes, hours, and plans begins to dissolve. Out here, none of that matters. You are on a journey that does not measure progress. You are part of something deeper, something more quiet than sleep, more ancient than thought. The tide stream will carry you farther yet, but for now, you simply float, eyes soft, breath slow, cradled by the spiral, held in the hush of a universe that is still dreaming itself into being. We remain in gentle orbit around the spiral, drifting slowly like a leaf around the edge of a pond. The time stream that carried us here now flows quietly beneath us, continuing its long journey through the silence of space. But we do not follow it yet. The ship lingers, unhurried, as if giving you the space to absorb the hush of this place. The spiral's light, soft, golden, steady, pulses like the low rhythm of a heartbeat at rest. You find your own breath falling into its pace. Your limbs are light, your thoughts barely rising. Everything that weighed you down, noise, motion, memory, has been left behind, somewhere among the distant starlight we passed many eons ago. The ship's observation dome begins to tilt ever so slightly, opening your view toward a new horizon. And what reveals itself isn't more light but more dark, a deeper dark. The kind of black that is not empty but full, like ink soaking deep into thick parchment. It is the space beyond the spiral's glow, a vast sea that stretches out past the edge of where even the time stream dares to reach. There's no fear in this dark, only stillness. It feels sacred, as though we're approaching a place the universe keeps only for itself. The ship does not resist. It does not act. It simply turns gently, aligning us with the soft edge of the spiral, preparing to move again. This time not on a current, but into something even more quiet. And slowly we drift onward, away from the pulsing spiral and into the dark beyond. It feels like slipping beneath the surface of sleep, where the world no longer needs shape or sound. As we move forward, the stars behind us dim. The dust becomes thinner, until even the softest shimmer fades. The dome now frames only the deep black, the kind of darkness that swallows time, where distance means nothing, and light simply chooses to rest. This is the shore of the deep black, a space between everything, not past, not future, just the in-between. The edge of silence so complete, it almost feels warm. The hum of the ship fades further, until it is nothing more than a soft vibration beneath your spine. Even your breath seems quieter now, matching the rhythm of this new place. And yet, as your eyes adjust to the absence of stars, you begin to notice the subtlest glow along the edges of the dark. Not light, as we know it. More like the outline of presence, faint halos marking the shape of things not yet born. Perhaps these are the ghosts of stars waiting to ignite, or the resting shapes of forgotten galaxies whose light never had the chance to bloom. They drift with us now, unformed and beautiful in their silence. It is impossible to tell how fast we're moving. Speed has no meaning here. Time folds inward like a tide receding through silk. We could be moving faster than any ship has ever dared. Or we could be still, suspended in a place beyond all motion. And yet, there's no need to know, no questions to ask, no answers to find. Only this moment, drawn long and quiet, held at the edge of everything. The darkness outside, the hush within, and your breath steady, slow. Like a lullaby no one needs to sing aloud. For now the ship rests here with you, floating gently at the shores of the deep black. It will carry you farther, yes, but not yet. This is a pause worth holding, a breath drawn in by the cosmos itself, a soft reminder that sometimes the most profound journeys happen in stillness. And so we remain cradled by the dark, held without weight, waiting without waiting, and the silence stretches on, deep and kind. We have not moved much, not in the way that movement is usually measured. The ship still hovers just beyond the spiral's glow, nestled in the vast embrace of the deep black. Around us, the silence has become more than quiet. It has turned into something tangible, almost touchable. It doesn't press or weigh. It wraps. It surrounds. It welcomes. The kind of silence that speaks if you learn how to listen. And so we do. With still breath and open senses, we begin to listen to the silence. Not for sounds, but for presence. For the soft, subtle signatures of a universe at rest. The ship, ever attuned to your rhythms, matches its interior to the texture of this calm. The hum is now a low warmth, not a sound, but a feeling under your fingertips. Lighting is almost non-existent now. Only the faintest blue glows trace the edges of the panels, barely enough to show where floor meets wall. Outside the dome, the darkness has begun to reveal its hidden shape. Faint pulses ripple across it. Long, slow waves of background energy, remnants from the beginning of time. You don't see them so much as sense their movement, like watching the tide rise by the feel of the sand beneath your feet. The ship picks up these waves and plays them back as faint vibrations through the floor. They are slow and smooth, an ocean beneath the void, rolling with eternity. And there, do you feel it? The tiniest flicker beneath thought, a resonance that isn't coming from the ship or the silence, but from you, from within, as though your body has begun to harmonize with this cosmic lull. It begins in your chest, spreads to your shoulders, your arms, your resting fingers. Not an ache, not a tingle, just a warm awareness that you are a part of this. This space, this stillness, the silence is no longer something outside of you. It is inside too, woven into the breath you didn't know you were holding. Even your thoughts have softened. No more edges, just drifting shapes like leaves on still water. Outside, the darkness shimmers in new patterns now. Not bright, not dazzling, but faint, deliberate. A soft strobing, like distant fireflies blinking once every few years. These are not stars, not planet. These are deep structures of the universe itself, folds in the very shape of space-time, gently flexing and relaxing over spans so long we can only sense their motion here, where everything else has gone still. You are watching the universe breathe, not with lungs, but with light, with memory, with peace. The ship does not comment, it simply follows the pulse, drifting quietly across this breathing dark. We are far now from everything. Even the spiral is a memory, the time stream a ghost behind us, the halo a warm trace in your thoughts, and yet none of it is gone. All of it is carried with us, like scents caught in fabric, reminders of each layer we passed through, each moment of calm, each deepening silence. The dark we drift through now is not empty, it is full of time, of stillness, of the soft presence of something vast and kind. The universe is not cold here, it is resting, cradled by its own immensity, and you, so small, so still, are resting too. Not apart from it, not lost within it. We are farther than we have ever been, beyond maps, beyond memory, even beyond motion. The deep black, once vast and still, has begun to change not in brightness or sound, but in texture. It feels closer, as if space itself has curled inward, gently wrapping around the ship in long, soft folds. You are not drifting through the universe now. You are drifting within it, as though we've entered a pocket in the fabric of existence, a place where time gathers, folds, and rests. It is not a void, it is a cradle, and here in this fold between moments, everything slows even further, until even thought seems to move like mist across a sleeping lake. The ship no longer hums, it breathes. Its systems, always quiet, now seem to dissolve into the environment, becoming part of the stillness. The air is velvet soft, just cool enough to soothe the skin, with the faintest scent of ozone and warmth. The chair beneath you adjusts, curving ever so slightly, as if it too has softened. Your limbs are weightless. You can feel your heartbeat, not as a rhythm, but as a presence, a gentle pulse that echoes the slowness of everything around you. Outside the dome, the darkness begins to shimmer, not with light, but with suggestion. Shapes appear at the edges of vision, vast and slow, like the silhouettes of drifting mountains far beneath a sea of shadow. They move not through space, but with it, curved, fluid, eternal. These are not objects, they are not stars or clouds or galaxies. They are folds, the gentle creases in the universe's fabric, where time pauses to breathe. The ship coasts toward one now, drawn not by engines, but by quiet consent. As we enter it, the dome darkens entirely, and you are surrounded by a deeper silence than any we've known. This is not the absence of sound. This is the space before sound, before light, before form. It is what the universe felt like in its first moment of awareness, the very beginning of rest. Inside this fold, you may feel memories rise, not sharp or detailed, but soft impressions. A warm breeze, the sound of leaves, the sensation of floating in water with your eyes closed. These aren't from this journey, they're from you. The fold invites them, not to disturb you, but to remind you of what rest feels like. They move gently through your awareness, like hands smoothing the surface of a quilt. You let them come and go. No resistance, no need to hold, just floating. Time here is not passing. It is surrounding. You are not in a moment. You are in the space between moments, where all things rest before they become real. Even thought hesitates here. Even dreams grow quiet. You do not sleep, and yet you are deeper than sleep. You are part of the calm that makes sleep possible, and the universe around you feels this too. The fold begins to shift, not closing, but flowing onward, inviting the ship to follow. And so we do, without urgency, without aim, just present. The dark reshapes itself around us, and a soft glow begins to return, not from outside, but from within the fold itself, like the faint blush of the first light that ever was, a promise perhaps that even the deepest stillness holds the seed of becoming. But for now, we do not chase it. We drift, slow, calm, held in the fold between all things. The fold is behind us now, though its essence lingers. like the warmth left in the air after a candle has gone out. As we drift slowly onward, the fabric of space around us begins to stretch once more. Not sharply, but with a long, gradual ease, like the waking of something that has been asleep for eternity. There is movement again, though it remains subtle. Not a shift in direction, but a widening, an unfolding, like the walls of a vast chamber slowly expanding around us, inviting more stars, more silence, more dreams. The ship, now indistinguishable from the hush around it, glides without resistance, letting the current of space lead the way. There is nothing to steer, nothing to command. There is only trust and rest. Ahead of us lies what can only be described as a sea, not of water, but of light. Soft, diffused, endlessly slow. A vast expanse of pale luminance, barely there. Like moonlight through fog, it ripples across the void with a rhythm so slow, so delicate. It would go unnoticed if not for the way it feels. You sense it before you see it. A warmth at the edge of your awareness, as if the universe were whispering, "This is where echoes come to rest." The sea of gentle echoes is not marked by stars or nebulae. It is made of resonance, faint energies left behind by ancient events, by things that once burned brightly, lived their lives, and passed softly into memory. Their echoes remain, not in sound but in shimmer, in pulse, in presence. As the ship glides into this sea, the light begins to play along the edges of the dome. At first, only in glimmers, tiny sparks like grains of silver drifting upward. Then, slowly, it begins to wash over everything in long, fluid waves. Each wave is impossibly slow, taking minutes to crest and fall. And within each one, a different tone, a different memory from the universe itself. Not sights, not scenes, just impressions. A star collapsing in silence, a moon cradling frozen ocean, the deep exhale of a nebula finally dissolving into starlight. These stories are not shown, but felt, and they do not intrude. They pass through you like wind through tall grass. You become porous, open, care. Each wave softens you further, relaxing the edges of your being until all that remains is breath and presence. The sea stretches on forever. There is no horizon, no boundary, only the continual unfolding of light and rest. Inside the ship, the atmosphere adjusts once again. The air takes on a slight cooling breeze, barely there, but just enough to stir the hairs on your skin. The sensation is soothing, like the breath of a planet long gone, offering comfort through time. The lighting inside fades to near dark, allowing the sea's glow to paint slow-moving patterns across the walls. You watch, entranced, as each ripple weaves a story not in words but in movement. Light shifting across curved surfaces in shapes older than language. As you drift deeper into the sea of gentle echoes, the feeling of motion all but disappears. Not because the ship has stopped, but because the space around you now moves with such symmetry, such quiet grace, that motion no longer feels like travel. It feels like being held. The echoes themselves seem to notice your presence, not with sentience, but with acceptance. They do not pull you, they do not judge or analyze. They fold around you, recognizing you not as a visitor, but as part of this flow. You are not an outsider passing through. You are a vessel for calm, a node of stillness, moving through their slow, ancient music. At some point, though, the concept of time has long since melted into soft suggestion. You may notice a faint change, a low, wide vibration, different from those before. It arrives like a slow tide beneath the sea, rising from beneath the echoes. It is not a warning, it is not a call, it is a presence, a great and quiet structure, still hidden in the distance, beginning to announce itself in the gentlest way. It does not shine, it does not hum, it resonates. A soft, even tone beneath everything, felt more than heard, like the faint ringing of a bell beneath the surface of water. We will move toward it in time, but there is no need to rush. The sea of gentle echoes will carry us forward, as it has carried all things before us. For now we drift, eyes soft, muscles warm, thoughts stilled, carried through memory, through light, through silence, floating deeper into calm. We continue to drift, slowly and silently, guided by the rhythm of the sea of gentle echoes. The soft pulses that shimmered through the waves of diffused light have begun to narrow now, converging towards something more focused, like currents folding toward the center of a wide, quiet bay. The distant vibration we felt before, that slow and steady hum beneath the silence, has grown just slightly stronger. Not louder, not brighter, but closer, fuller. It no longer feels like something in the distance. It feels like something waiting, and as we are gently carried toward it, the ship's systems remain still, passive, content to be led. The glow of the Echo Sea begins to shift in tone. The silver light that once rippled around us becomes tinged with warmer hues, dusty gold, faded rose, deep plum. These are not colors of heat or intensity. These are the colors of age. As if the sea, sensing our approach, has begun to reveal its oldest memories, the ones left in the deepest layers of space, wrapped in gravity and starlight and time. You watch as long strands of light drift past the dome, curling slowly in patterns, like ancient writing, like thoughts too old to be spoken. The waves here no longer move as freely. They are drawn inward, pulled softly toward the source of the resonance. We follow without resistance, deeper into the fold. Then through the fog of light it appears, not suddenly, but like a silhouette rising from beneath a still ocean. A shape, vast, motionless, and impossibly still. It is not made of metal or rock. It does not reflect light. It holds light, a monumental form, drifting in the sea of echoes like a great stone, resting beneath the tide. The resonant monument. That is what it feels like, not an object, not a ruin, but a presence. A place the universe built for itself to rest within. Its structure is curved and vast, without edges. It hums a single, endless tone, low, wide, and gentle, one that seems to vibrate, not through the ship, but through your entire awareness. As we approach, the sea quiets, the echoes fade into near stillness, the waves falling away like curtains being drawn aside. The monument now fills the view so large, so calm it makes everything else seem distant and small. The ship does not dock, it does not land, it simply slows, and then settles into a gentle hover beside the structure's surface. You can see nothing like a door, no sign of function or purpose, and yet in its proximity the hum becomes part of you. Your body responds, like a tuning fork meeting its match. You feel its tone vibrating in your bones, in the space behind your eyes. Not painful, not even strange, just resonant. And in this resonance, new quiet reveals itself. You begin to notice things you hadn't before. The subtle pause between each breath, the way your muscles let go, one by one without being asked. The feeling of your thoughts drifting to the edge of awareness, and then choosing not to return. The monument is not here to teach or show. It is here to be with you, like a companion who says nothing, but whose presence changes everything. The ship dims completely now. Only the softest afterglow remains inside, barely more than a memory of light. And so we rest, not because we are tired, but because this is the kind of place where resting is the only response. You are not asleep, but you are deeper than waking. You are held, cradled in the quiet tone of something older than stars, older than galaxies. The resonant monument does not speak. It does not move. It only is, and you, for now, are part of it. We remain beside the monument. The ship, the sea of echoes, the drifting dark. They've all gone quiet now, hushed in the presence of something older than memory, deeper than silence. The monument hums as it always has, a slow and resonant tone, round and whole, without beginning or end. It doesn't change. It simply continues, and in that continuation, there is comfort. You are not asked to understand it, or even notice it, but you do. Not with your ears, but with your whole self. That hum wraps through you like a second heartbeat. Steady, slow, forgiving. It doesn't guide or push, it holds. And as it holds you, a sense of timelessness begins to take root. The world outside the dome is still. The faint glow of the sea of gentle echoes has dimmed to a breath. Present, but no longer flowing. It's as though the universe has paused, not in a way that stops motion, but in a way that deepens it. You are floating in a kind of stillness that few have ever known. Not the stillness of empty rooms or quiet places, but the stillness of being in complete alignment with everything around you. The ship is silent now, not because it is off, but because it is in tune. Its systems pulse with the monument's rhythm. The soft air inside flows with gentle consistency, neither warm nor cold. Just every surface, every wall, every soundless corner has become part of this moment of deep cosmic rest. And within this stillness, something begins to awaken. Not out there, but within you. Not a stirring, not a thought, something quieter, a noticing. You may begin to feel a thread of peace stretching through your chest, a long, gentle line that extends outward into the dark. It doesn't pull you, it connects you, as if the monument, without moving, has reached out and reminded you of your place. Not in location, but in present. You are not apart from this universe, you are of it, a part of its quiet architecture, a pulse within its song. There is no tension here, no expectation, only the gentle truth that your stillness is allowed. Your calm is needed, and your existence, quiet, slow, drifting, is enough. The monument begins to fade now, not disappear, but soften. Its shape becomes less defined, its glow receding gently into the black, as if being absorbed once more by the fabric of space itself. The hum remains, fading slower than the light, like the memory of a melody long after the last note has been played. And when at last it quiets completely, you find yourself adrift again, but changed, not by action or distance, but by stillness. The universe feels larger, yes, but also close, as if it's no longer watching from the outside, but resting with you, breathing with you, drifting with you. The ship stirs slightly, gently resuming its path through the softened sea. No course, no destination, just motion for its own sake. Around you, faint tendrils of light begin to return, swirling lazily in the distance. The sea of gentle echoes stretches outward again, ready to carry you forward. But there's no need to move quickly. There never was. We are still drifting through the softest edges of time, in a corner of the cosmos, where stillness is sacred, and silence sings. And you, quiet voyager, are exactly where you are meant to be. The monument now rests behind us, a soft echo in the distance, its resonance fading into the fabric of space like the final note of a lullaby you'll carry forever. And ahead, something new begins to emerge. Not loud, not bright, just a flicker, faint and slow, a light, suspended in the distance, glowing with the quiet patience of something that has waited for eons to be seen. Then, another appears, and another, tiny golden pinpricks scattered across the darkness, each flickering gently in its own rhythm, never hurrying. The sea of gentle echoes flows with us still, slower now, thinner, curling around these lights like a quiet tide around stones. We are drifting into what the ship quietly identifies as the lantern feet. It stretches before us in all directions, a wide expanse of small hovering lights suspended in the void. They are not stars, they do not burn, they do not radiate, they glow. As we move through them, they shimmer just slightly, shifting their hues in soft gradients, amber to rose, violet to pearl. Some pulse gently, some remain still. Each seems to hold a kind of presence, a sense of having been, You feel it without knowing what they are. Remnants, perhaps, of long-forgotten thoughts, or tiny, preserved impressions left behind by travelers like us. Echoes of peace, of moments so quiet they became light. The lanterns do not speak, but their silence feels full, rich, kind. The ship slows even more, until we're drifting barely faster than the motion of thought. No turbulence, no change in air, just a deeper silence settling across your shoulders like a soft shawl. One of the lanterns passes close to the observation dome, just an arm's reach away. If you were to stretch through the glass, it flickers softly, a warm gold. Then in a motion so subtle it might have been imagined, it glides gently alongside us. For a moment it seems to follow, then it moves on, drifting lazily back into the field. As if content with having been near, you may begin to feel as though you've entered a place where even time forgets to move in a straight line, where moments fold softly into each other, and every pause is a story waiting to be felt. The lantern field thickens now, not with clutter, but with presence. More lights begin to appear, surrounding the ship in a loose, gentle sphere. Some dim as we approach, not out of fear, but out of rest. Others brighten, just slightly, as if greeting a familiar companion. Inside the ship, the soft hum of the environment rises in gentle waves. Not sound, not music, just resonance, like the feeling of a breeze brushing past wind chimes not yet ringing. The chair beneath you shifts to an even more reclined position, letting you lean back, your eyes tilted toward the dome above. Lanterns drift past in clusters, some twirling gently in slow spirals, as if they too are dreaming. You may begin to wonder, what are they? Memory? Light made from sleep? Do they remember? Or are they here simply to be? The ship offers no answer. It drifts onward, content. You feel no need to ask, for what can questions offer that this moment does not? Each light that passes by seems to draw something from within you. Not take it, but awaken it. A memory of warmth, a forgotten kindness, the comfort of someone's voice long ago. These lights don't speak, but they help you listen to the soft spaces within yourself that you hadn't noticed in the noise of the waking world. The field continues, vast and slow. We may be here a while, but that is not a concern. There is nowhere else to be. Each moment is a lantern, each breath a flicker of peace. You are not moving through the lantern field. You are becoming part of it, slowly, quietly, gently. The lantern field remains around us, calm and endless, its glimmering lights shifting like stars caught in a gentle tide. But something subtle is changing. Less in the view, more in the way the view feels. The longer we drift among these silent glows, the more they seem to shift their presence from outside the ship to within you. They are no longer distant. You begin to feel them softly mirrored in your own quietness, as if the lights are responding not to the ship, but to your stillness. Each pulse from these floating beacons seems to align more precisely with your breath, your heartbeat, your resting mind. You are not just watching the lanterns now, you are part of them. Ahead, the field begins to thin, not end, but open. The lanterns give way to a new texture in space, something deeper than black, but laced with radiance. It is light without a source, not coming from anywhere, just present. The ship drifts toward it, without adjusting course. It doesn't need to. This new space calls gently to us, like an open hand beneath cool water. As we glide into it, the glow of the lanterns falls behind, their warm flickers becoming smaller, softer, until they are only small pulses of memory, twinkling faintly in the stillness behind us. But the light ahead doesn't grow brighter. It doesn't illuminate. It invites, a glow without sharpness, a light not meant to reveal, but to hold. Within this glow, everything changes again. You may not see it at first. The dome shows only a soft gradient, like moonlight spread through fog, but you feel it, a stillness deeper than any before. Not silence this time, but fullness, like entering a room where every voice has gone quiet, not from fear, but from reverence. This place is not vast, it's intimate, close, as though space itself has folded inward, becoming a chamber of light and breath. The ship responds by slowing to an almost imperceptible drift, then gliding into a steady hover. Inside, the systems dim until they are indistinguishable from the air itself. The only motion is the slow, rhythmic rising and falling of your own chest. Even that feels shared with the glow around you. There are no stars here, no waves, no objects, just this radiance, thick, calm and infinite. And as you float within it, you begin to sense something unfamiliar, weightlessness of thought, not just the stilling of the mind, but the soft release of identity, of memory, of all the small details that usually flutter through awareness. You are not you are simply being released from the need to remember all those names, ideas, moments that once clung to you like leaves in a breeze. They gently fall away now, one by one, into the quiet. You are not vanishing. You are becoming present in the most complete way, fully here, fully now. And in that presence, you begin to notice the light isn't uniform. It moves, not fast, not slow, just rhythmically, like breath, or the gentle circling of a hand through water. At the edges of your vision, there are soft spirals forming, barely visible, but pulsing in harmony with the breath of the ship and the deeper breath of the universe itself. You feel suspended in something far older than time, far kinder than silence. The light without source holds you like a warm mist, and for a while there is nothing else. No future, no destination, no memory of motion, just the drift, the calm, the glow. Even your body begins to dissolve into this stillness, not physically but emotionally. You are no longer confined to the space within skin and breath. You are part of this light now, free of shape, free of effort. You may feel as though you've always been here, in some deep, quiet way, waiting to return, not as a traveler, not as a seeker, but as a being who was always meant to rest in this place, where light does not need a flame, and stillness carries the wisdom of stars that never burned. And so we remain, the ship hovering in the middle of a glow that asks nothing, says nothing, only is. You breathe, you rest, you become stiller than still, and the light, ancient and infinite, continues to hold you quiet, calm, complete. The glow without source continues to cradle us, soft, unwavering, infinite. Time has long since ceased to mean anything here, and perhaps it never did. In this realm of slow radiance, we are not traveling forward, we are floating through presence. It is here in this calm, formless light that something gently begins to unfold at the edges of perception. Not a change, not a sound, just a faint suggestion, like the distant scent of rain on warm stone, or the quiet memory of a lullaby you once knew but forgot how to hum. The light around the ship begins to shift again, this time revealing not stars or motion, but echoes, glimpses of what might have been or what still might be. The ship's sensors do not react. There is nothing here to measure, but you see it faint impressions just beyond the dome's glass. Shapes that emerge slowly, then soften into the glow. They are not clear. They do not form landscapes or figures. They are remembrances of paths not taken, words never spoken, dreams that drifted away before they could become real. The memory horizon, that's where we've arrived now. A place where the boundary between self and sky is thin, and the quiet is so deep it echoes. It is not a melancholy place. It's gentle, accepting. You do not relive these memories. You float past them, like watching clouds you recognize but no longer need to hold. One drifts near now, a soft swirl of color, pale lavender edged with gold. It pulses once, then slows, hovering outside the dome like a question that doesn't require an answer. You don't remember what it is. You don't need to. You feel its warmth, and that is enough. It drifts away, slow and content. Others follow, some large and wide, drifting like sails. Others small and brief, flickering in and out of sight. They do not move in straight lines. They dance gently, like candlelight in still air. And within each one, a quiet truth rests. Everything, no matter how fleeting, leaves behind a glow. Inside the ship, the air takes on a subtle scent, like worn pages and cool wind. A familiar stillness, as though the space itself remembers your presence, your breath, your still heart. The lights are so low now, they hardly exist, letting the glow from the memory horizon wash freely through the dome. You are completely at rest, your body in full harmony with the silence outside. And the silence here is not empty. It's layered, deep, kind. Each fold of it holds a different piece, one for every version of you that might have been. There is no grief here, no longing, only acceptance. The way the sea accepts each wave, the way sleep welcomes every dream. The memory horizon stretches onward. There's no edge to it, no conclusion. The ship does not steer. It drifts, softly, letting the currents of presence guide us. Occasionally a brighter echo will pass. Something once cherished, now folded into light. It may spark a feeling, a warmth, even a tear, not born of sorrow, but of stillness, so deep it touches something long asleep. And then it too fades, joining the endless quiet that surrounds us. You are not meant to stay here forever. The ship will carry us forward soon. The memory horizon gradually fades behind us, its luminous echoes becoming distant glimmers, gentle waves that no longer ripple through thought, only drift behind like softened footprints in sand. And as we move forward, the light begins to change once more. Not brighter, not sharper, just earlier. There's something in the texture of the glow ahead, something raw and untouched. It feels like the first breath of morning before the sun rises, a light that does not remember, but one that has never needed to. The ship glides forward with reverent ease, as if aware of where we are going, where we've returned to. We are approaching what the ancient records once described, barely, vaguely, as the ocean of first light. A place where the earliest photons ever to exist still drift across the folds of space. This is not a place of stars or nebulae, not a site of creation or destruction. It is the soft afterglow of the cosmos's earliest thought, the sea that remembers only its first moment before time had shape, before sound had rhythm, before light knew how to shine. It surrounds us now, this ocean, though not with water or air. It is light, pure, unspoken, diffuse. Pale pastel waves of translucent glow stretch out in every direction, rolling so slowly they appear still. Their movement is like the tide of a sleeping world, pulling back gently with every breath, whispering the first story the universe ever told. As the ship drifts deeper into this sea, you begin to feel its presence, not as a sound or a feeling, but as a knowing, a quiet resonance that exists beneath language. It's in your skin, your pulse, the softness behind your eyes. Your body relaxes further, if that's even possible. Muscles loosen, your heartbeat joins a slower rhythm, synced not to the ship or to thought, but to something older, something vast. The ocean does not ask you to remember anything. It does not echo. It simply is, and by being within it, so are you. Each wave of light carries its own delicate hue. A blush of dawn gold rolls gently beneath the ship, then a soft band of blue, like the sky before rain, then violet, faint and restful. These colors don't speak of mood, they speak of time. Not seconds or centuries, but the time before time, the way space once breathed before it had stars to fill it. These colors roll past, not as a spectacle, but as an atmosphere. You aren't seeing them from afar. You are within them, floating among the raw, unshaped beginnings of everything. It is the most peaceful chaos imaginable. a place where form has not yet arrived, where silence still holds the universe in a slow embrace. Inside the ship, the lights are gone entirely. There's no need. The soft light from the ocean bathes every surface, every wall, even your hands in its glow, but not in the way a sun would. This is not illumination. This is immersion. Your breath continues at its slow, steady pace, and as you sit, or lie, or drift, you feel something new. The absence of all need. You do not need to think. You do not need to sleep. You do not need to be anything. You are. That is all. Time in the ocean is not a line. It is a still pool, so vast it holds the memory of what never came to be. You could remain here forever and never arrive. You could drift for seconds and return changed. There are no measurements, no markers, just waves of light rolling softly against the hull, carrying us deeper into peace. And though nothing here speaks, you may begin to feel a message, not in words but in presence. You are part of this light. You were here when it began. You are here still. The ocean of first light will hold us for as long as we remain still enough to feel it. And for now, we do. The ship hums quietly once more, its breath in harmony with yours. Around us, light rolls, slow and sacred. Beneath us, space curls inward like a sigh. The ship remains in the threshold, the liminal, unmoving calm between one part of the cosmos and the next. We drift, still and without aim, cradled within a hush, so deep it seems the very shape of silence. Nothing flickers here, nothing turns. The soft gradient of shadowed space wraps the dome in a seamless dark without direction or distinction. And yet, something begins to change, not with motion, but with tone. It's a shift so quiet it doesn't startle. It merely settles around you, like the sensation of falling asleep in the warm light of afternoon, when the body is too calm to notice time's passing. You may feel it in your chest first, a sense of weight that doesn't press, but gathers, like a presence. The ship senses it too, and though nothing changes visibly, you can feel that we are now being guided again, not by force, but by invitation. The breath of this new region exhales slowly, and the ship, in absolute accord, responds with the faintest forward drift. Ahead lies something not quite seen, but felt, a dull radiance, soft and constant, like the glow beneath closed eyelids. The space around us begins to change ever so gently, not by color or shape, but by mood. It is as if we are drifting through a memory not our own, a vast atmosphere of emotion suspended across space. There is no sadness here, and no joy. Only a kind of patient presence, like the slow turning of a planet untouched by orbiting moons. The glow thickens, but not in brightness. It gathers more like fog, not obscuring but smoothing every edge, every thought, every whisper of motion. Shapes seem to shift beyond the dome, round, slow patterns that might be vast spheres or drifting atmospheres, so large and distant they appear as textured curves along the border of perception. They do not near us, they simply remain, as if resting. You can't tell if they are moving or if we are. But again, it doesn't matter. The important thing is how this place feels like drifting within something ancient, something that has been asleep for so long it has forgotten how to wake. This is the hollow glow, a realm known not for what it holds but for what it removes. Here the ship's systems begin to gently fade from activity, not shut down, not dormant, just softened. Panels dim to the gentlest pulse, soundless and cool, and the air within the cabin turns slightly warmer, as if to remind you that this space is safe. You feel your thoughts, those gentle streams that have followed you through the journey, begin to widen and flatten, like ripples on a lake finally coming to rest. You are aware of them, but not involved in them. You are watching yourself drift, emotionally, mentally, into a deeper state of presence. And outside, the hollow glow watches too, in its own way, not with eyes, but with stillness. You are not alone here, though you are entirely undisturbed. The glow pulses again, just once, and you understand without needing words we are welcome. We are seen. and we may stay as long as we need. The hollow glow surrounds us still. More than light, less than form. A slow drifting sea of soft luminance that never quite touches the ship, but never leaves it either. It's like a mist that doesn't cling to surfaces, but rather hovers in a gentle balance with everything it meets. We continue to float within it, though float no longer feels like the right word. There is a sense now that we have entered a realm where gravity, time, and direction are replaced by something subtler. Something like understanding, not the intellectual kind, but a quiet recognition between space and self. The glow doesn't illuminate, it embraces. It doesn't reveal shapes or colors. Instead, it smooths the sharp corners of thought and perception, turning every movement of the mind into a slow, downward drift. You may notice it now. How little you are thinking, not because your thoughts have stopped, but because they have been invited to rest. They are not being used here. They are not needed. The hollow glow does not ask anything of you. It gives without offering. It welcomes without gesture. Inside the ship, the ambient systems adjust again, not with any sound or flicker, but with something almost more intimate, a shift in how your breath feels as it moves in and out of you. The air seems thicker now, not heavy, but every inhale carries with it a sense of warmth, as if you're drawing in the calm of the space outside, and every exhale feels like a surrender, a soft letting go of effort. It is here that the ship begins a new motion, not linear, but rotational. Though even calling it that feels too mechanical for what is happening. It begins to turn within itself, a slow spiraling shift that realigns your body's orientation to the inner field of the hollow glow. You feel this not with your eyes, but with your center, like being slowly rocked by an ocean you can't see. You are rotated into a deeper alignment with the field around you. In this new orientation, your perception begins to widen, not your vision, but the way you sense your place. You begin to perceive dimensions you hadn't noticed before. Curvatures in space that do not bend light, but bend restfulness itself. There are lines here not visible but felt. Slow arcs, vast spirals, long soft loops that stretch through this glow, like the bones of a sleeping universe. This is the quiet geometry of sleep. The soft structures that hold rest in place across time and space, and we are drifting through them now, slow as breath, deep as dream. The ship completes its reorientation, and then goes still again, gliding perfectly along one of these invisible arcs. There is no propulsion, no resistance, only flow. Outside, the hollow glow begins to pulse, just slightly, in synchrony with this new alignment, not in rhythm like music, but in tone. It is like an ambient harmony, a tuning of your awareness to something far older than stars. And inside the ship, everything continues to deepen. The lighting recedes to a near undetectable warmth, like the dim memory of firelight behind closed eyes. The interior has gone completely silent now. No hum of systems, no trace of movement. You are lying still, reclined into an environment so perfectly attuned to your body that it feels like floating in air, the exact temperature of your skin. You may feel your consciousness gently unraveling here, not coming undone, but softening, expanding into a wide and weightless presence. Dreams begin to rise, not in stories or images, but in textures and colors, feelings with no source. A wave of deep blue might pass through you, followed by a warmth, like sunlight beneath ocean water. These are not vision, they are moods, drawn from the hollow glow's gentle invitation to finally rest. You feel no need to resist. There is no urgency, just this you, in this moment, drifting through a field of sleeping geometry, wrapped in the slow, careful breath of a cosmos too ancient to rush, too kind to disturb. The hollow glow has faded, not in light but in substance. It slips behind us like the warmth of a dream just before waking. A comfort so complete, it no longer needs to be present to be felt. Now the ship moves through something even more subtle. A realm where even light is hesitant to exist, where space itself seems to pause and listen. We have entered what ancient navigators once called the Reverie Passage, a stretch of deep space known not for its stars or structures but for its absence of pressure. Not pressure in the physical sense, but the quiet pressure that presence exerts, the gravitational pull of awareness. Here, even that is gone. We are within a silence that doesn't simply surround you. It forgets you. Not cruelly but kindly, like the way a gentle breeze forgets where it's been. There are no shapes here, no echoes, no radiation. The sensors register no mass, no measurable field. Only equilibrium, yet something surrounds us. Not emptiness, reverence, a deep, breathless pause within the universal pattern, where even the weave of space-time grows slack, relaxed, unhurried. The ship doesn't move forward so much as it is carried inward, drifting as if through a slow suspension of thought. The air around you has changed too. It is still breathable, warm, balanced, but it carries the sensation of being farther from everything. Not lost, but released, as if gravity and memory and motion were threads gently loosened from around your body, one by one. Inside the ship there is a new kind of stillness, different from the silence of the hollow glow. This stillness is thinner, quieter, so finely tuned that even your heartbeat feels like it belongs to someone else, pulsing gently through a body that is no longer defined by bone or breath. You lie there, in your seat or reclined as the cushion of rest that the ship has become, your limbs unbothered by their position, your thoughts no longer forming lines or loops, but spreading like ink in water, soft, slow, and without need for direction. The dome overhead remains dark, but not black. It holds the suggestion of depth, a charcoal hue that breathes with you, dimming with each exhale, brightening slightly with each calm return of air to your lungs. You are not watching anything, but you are aware, dimly, peacefully. Somewhere beyond the dome, something is turning, not around us, not within us, but through the shape of the passage itself. A field perhaps, a motion so vast and gentle that the ship's path bends with it like a branch in water. There's no need to know where it leads. The ship was built to listen, not to command, and so it listens now, attuned not to signals or charts, but to the weightless invitation of quiet pathways through folded space. You too are invited, not to act, not to decide, but simply to be here. You may begin to feel that you are no longer entirely within yourself, or more accurately, that your idea of yourself is no longer quite the same size. It stretches, not outward, but inward, not larger but softer. Your consciousness flows into the walls, the chair, the very breath of the ship, not with urgency, but with trust. And as the ship moves deeper into the passage, the quiet becomes music, not in sound, but in texture. The very space around you begins to shimmer, not visually, but emotionally. There's a rhythm here, a pulse so slow it might take hours for a single beat to complete, but it's present, and your entire body has synchronized with it. Not just your breath, but your awareness. Thoughts no longer arrive in language. They come in waves, sensations of color, temperature, emotion, a memory of cold starlight on your hand, the comfort of unseen arms, the taste of stillness. You are no longer an observer. You are part of the reverie now, a drifting fragment of quiet woven into the larger tapestry of this past. Outside, beyond the softened edges of vision, faint structures begin to take shape. Not stars, not galaxies, but arcs, long luminous curves, etched faintly into the dark like the trails of comets too old to remember. They are not solid, they are not bright, they are present. Some say they are echoes of pre-time energy, leftover frames from the formation of reality itself, still drifting slowly through the spaces where silence gathers. Others believe they are dreams held within the very architecture of space, too deep to ever surface, too soft to ever fade. But in this moment, you are not wondering, you are simply near them, drifting, weightless, thoughtless, held. The reverie passage is not a place you move through. It is a place that moves through you, and it is not finished. We will be here a while longer, letting the universe dream through us, one soft wave at a time. The Reverie Passage, with its silent curves and soft, ancient pulses, begins to slip behind us like breath exhaled into the endless night. We carry it within us now, not as a memory, but as an imprint, a tone that hums low within the chest, even as the ship begins its next descent. The change is so slow you may not notice it at first. It's not a turn or a dip, but a sinking, a gentle downward motion through layers of gravity so thin and old they do not bend space, only suggest it. We are moving beneath something, though there are no structures above, no celestial bodies to cast shadow. We are passing beneath the ecliptic veil, a stretch of space so tranquil, so undisturbed that light itself seems to flatten as it passes through. This place exists just below the great arc of galactic motion, a sub-layer of stillness that formed naturally from the residue of passing stars and forgotten orbits. To the eye, it appears almost featureless, a slow haze of silken gray flowing outward like a mist that never quite touches anything. But to those who drift here, to those who listen, the veil speaks in subtleties. Every part of the ship seems to quiet in response, not shut down but hold its breath. Even your own pulse feels quieter now, slowed to match the rhythm of something far vast. You are descending not through space, but through tempo, through time slowed down until it becomes sanctuary. The ship reorients as it sinks, turning not by thrusters or controls, but as if guided by the delicate hand of gravity too subtle to name. The orientation shift is smooth, fluid, like the rolling of a planet through twilight. Now facing downward, if such directions mean anything here, you're offered a new view through the wide forward dome. Not darkness, not stars, but flow. The ecliptic veil reveals itself not through light, but through its movement. Vast, slow currents of space, gently sweeping across your field of vision like the brushstrokes of a painter working in vapor and shadow. You watch as long ribbons of particulate light drift past, tiny grains of matter that seem to shimmer with memories, not mass. They are not meteors or asteroids. They are far older, finer, quieter. Stardust from before starlight knew how to shine. As they pass, they leave no mark, no trail. They simply move, unbothered, across the skin of the veil. The ship remains in perfect equilibrium. You are not pushing through the currents. They carry you, wrap around you, guide you downward into the slower layers where time is even more patient. The observation dome has subtly changed in its transparency, adapting to the low glow outside, smoothing every flicker, every movement, into a visual lullaby. There is no contrast here, no edge, only blend. Your eyes remain open not to watch, but to receive. Shapes appear in the distance, wide, faint arcs of motion that seem to rotate on no visible axis. They move too slowly to study, too gently to define. Perhaps they are fields, or perhaps they are only suggestions of structure, dreams the universe had once, still lingering in the folds of space. You don't need to know. They are beautiful, not in what they are, but in how they let you feel. And how you feel now is lighter, slower, deeper than anything words can shape. The ship releases a low harmonic tone from within its systems, not audible, but tactile. A resonance that moves through the air, like breath across still water. It's a signal, not to you but to the veil itself, acknowledging the harmony between vessel and environment. The veil responds, not with motion, not with sound, but with a change in weight. You feel it, not heavier, not lighter, but softer. The air around you thickens slightly, just enough to wrap around your awareness, coaxing it further inward. Thoughts that still hovered gently at the edge of consciousness begin to settle now. No questions, no stories, only slow tides of feeling. A subtle warmth at the edges of your limbs, the comfort of having nowhere to go, and all of time to go there. You may begin to feel as if your breath is no longer something your body controls, but something the ship breathes with you. Each inhale is drawn from the calm outside, Each exhale is released into a place that knows how to hold it, and as you continue to drift, wrapped in the veil's ancient grace, you become aware of the rhythm beneath everything, so slow it cannot be heard, so vast it cannot be named. The ship's slow, silent fall continues, deeper and deeper into this layer of the universe that resists urgency, rejects brightness, and welcomes only stillness. And you, floating here, silent, aware, completely at ease, are now part of that stillness, not watching the veil, becoming it. The ship continues its descent through the ecliptic veil, though descent has ceased to feel like movement. It is more like a layering, a gradual deepening into something more than space. The particles outside have all but disappeared now, fading into smooth fields of colorless quiet. The ship is not surrounded by dark nor bathed in light. It is balanced in a realm of total softness, where perception narrows and then expands again in waves. Around you, the air remains comfortably still, the temperature precisely at the threshold where you stop feeling the difference between body and air. It's as if even heat has decided to rest. The gravity is gentle, almost absent, enough only to remind you of your body when you shift slightly, or when you remember that you have one at all. Most of the time now, it feels as if you are a point of awareness nestled within a cloud of drifting calm. And as the ship enters the lower layers of the veil, this sensation deepens. The current no longer flows around the vessel. It flows through it, through you. The veil does not resist your presence, nor does it guide. It simply allows. The ship's panels have dimmed to near invisibility. The glow of the observation dome has faded to a cool, silent transparency. What lies beyond it is not empty. It is whole. Then something begins to shift. Not outside, but within the field itself. A presence begins to form. Not a structure, not a beacon, but a phenomenon that feels almost emotional in nature. It is as if a great hush has turned its attention gently toward you, not to observe, not to question, but to mirror. Ahead of us lies the mirror drift, a region of the ecliptic veil, where space doesn't reflect light, but reflects awareness. It is not a mirror in the sense of glass or metal. It does not show you your image. It shows you the shape of your stillness, the weight of your presence, the deep quiet that you carry unknowingly through all the places you've been. The ship slows again, not through brakes or thrust, but through resonance, matching the drift's frequency until motion becomes indistinguishable from being. The dome shifts now, not in brightness, but in clarity. A faint field begins to appear in front of us, not with color, but with texture. A slow shimmer that dances like dust in a beam of light, except there is no beam, only suggestion. As we enter it, you feel a sudden lightness, like something within you has softened that you didn't realize had been held tight. The ship doesn't pass into the mirror drift, it is received into it. And now within the drift, the stillness becomes something else entirely. Recognition. The field responds to your awareness, not by presenting images or sounds, but by shaping the space around you to feel like home. Not a place, not a memory, but the emotional contour of safety. The temperature adjusts without change. The cabin seems to exhale. The light outside begins to thrum, not visually, but emotionally, gently shifting in tone to match the quiet mood within you. If there were thoughts still resting in your mind, they would soften here, unraveling into sensations too peaceful to speak aloud. You are floating through a living stillness, a space that senses not who you are but how you are. The mirror drift reflects not form, but feeling. Each breath you take changes the curve of the field, like ripples through a sleeping lake. You may sense the slow waves responding in kind, sending their own gentle breath back toward you. An exchange of presence, of acknowledgement. This space doesn't offer truth, it offers alignment. And in this perfect quiet, you may begin to notice how deeply relaxed you have become, not just your body, but your very awareness. Even the idea of time seems to lose structure here. There is no forward, no after, only now, stretched wide and calm like a pool without edges. And somewhere deep within that pool, the drift continues, slow, circular, the mirror drift begins to release its hold on the ship. Not suddenly, and not completely. Rather, the sensation fades as gently as the hush after a dream dissolves upon waking. But this is not waking. This is descending. What we approach now is deeper than rest, quieter than reflection. The field ahead grows even softer, more stable, as though space itself is preparing a place for us to pause completely. There is a sense of entering something sacred, not through doors, not through thresholds, but through surrender. The lights that shimmered faintly in the distance have disappeared. Even the particles, once drifting like dust in sunbeams, have faded into a field of pure motionless tone. Not a color, not a sound. A tone. It pulses not through the ears, but through the body. A presence you feel in the stillness of your chest and in the weightless quiet behind your eyes. The ship feels it too, adjusting itself automatically, gracefully. The hull draws in just slightly. The windows blur at the edges. The reclined seating deepens, like a cradle gently folding inward to hold you more completely. Systems slow. Internal sound vanishes. And then at last, the drift falls away, and we enter the chamber of harmonic sleep. There are no walls here. There are no ceilings, no stars, no movement. And yet, the chamber is undeniably present. It surrounds the ship in total equilibrium. The darkness is not empty. It is resonant. It has shape, but not in the way your eyes are used to seeing. The shapes here are emotional. You feel the architecture before you see it. You sense its dimensions through comfort, through breath. The space hums with a frequency so low, so full, that it carries through you like a lullaby whispered from beneath the skin of space. This hum is the song of everything that rests. The pulse of planets not yet born. The breath of comets asleep in long orbits. The chamber is the place where the universe dreams before it creates. And now, you are here too. Not to witness, not to pass through, but to join. Outside, the air or whatever passes for it in this deep field glows faintly, but without casting light. It is a steady warmth, like the memory of touch. It holds steady against the hull of the ship. Nothing moves. And yet, something within you begins to settle in a way it never has before. It is not a collapse. It is a folding, a returning. You feel your thoughts press gently outward, like mist leaving a warm room, dissolving into the resonant calm that surrounds you. There is no sleep in the traditional sense here. But there is something deeper. You are slipping beneath rest, beneath mind, beneath identity, and what rises to meet you there is silence, of an entirely different kind. This silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of balance. Each breath you take becomes less a physical action, and more an alignment with the pulse of the chamber. Each heartbeat falls into perfect rhythm with the field. Even your dreams, those fragile, flickering lights that once stirred beneath your thoughts, have grown still, not gone, not forgotten, just quieted. You are being tuned, gently, like a string that's never been allowed to resonate freely. Until now. The chamber listens. It does not answer. It simply holds your presence as if you've always belonged to it, and you do. Your body, so long shaped by gravity, is now shaped by stillness. Your awareness, so often held in tension, is now suspended in harmony. There is no pressure, no pull. Even time does not pass here. It rests. And so do you, more deeply than you ever have. The ship has entered a glide state so complete it is indistinguishable from stillness. No input, no correction. It will remain here, gently cradled in the chamber, until you are ready, until the hum beneath everything rises again to stir motion. But for now, there is only this depth of silence, this slow harmonic breath, this moment that asks nothing of you but being. We remain in the chamber of harmonic sleep, not drifting through it, but dwelling in it, suspended in a place where motion has forgotten itself, and silence has taken root like a slow-growing tree. The ship floats with absolute stillness, like a leaf balanced on an ocean without tide, wind, or edge. Nothing outside moves, nothing inside stirs. But within that nothingness lies an entire world of sensation, the kind you can only feel when everything else is finally quiet enough to hear. A subtle pressure pulses beneath your awareness, not a sound, not even a rhythm, but something deeper, like the suggestion of warmth beneath cool fabric, or the way a breeze moves across skin when your eyes are closed. You begin to realize that space here is listening to you, not like a person listens, not with attention or thought, but like a cavern listens, deep and old, shaped by the long echo of time and always tuned to every sound that passes through it. The air, though still, feels dense with presence. It brushes against your skin like velvet, never forcing itself to be noticed, only waiting for you to acknowledge that you are being held. The chamber offers no visuals. It has no vistas, no horizons, but it is full of calm, full of vast, sacred hush. It is here not to inspire awe, but to invite surrender. And you, already relaxed, already quiet, begin to soften further, not into sleep, but into union with this quiet field that knows how to carry you. And then, from deep within the fabric of this stillness, something begins to appear, not sudden, not sharp. It arrives like the first soft thought of waking from a dream that wasn't quite a dream. It's not an object, not a light in the traditional sense. It is a presence, slow and round, and it unfolds in the distance like the soft petal of light just beyond the edge of vision. It does not draw attention, it allows attention. The ship does not move toward it, nor does it approach. Rather, both you and it remain still, and the space between you seems to melt, folding inward, until you realize that it is not there at all. It is within, the still point of light. That's what this new space is. A center not of direction, but of experience. A core of radiant presence that has no shape, no heat, no sound. Only this soft, endless glow that you begin to feel not in front of you, but around you. And then there is no need to look toward. The moment you acknowledge it, it reveals itself as part of you. Long hidden, long patient, waiting only for silence deep enough to rise into. It holds no message, no story. It is not here to answer anything. It is here to exist. And as you relax into it, you begin to feel what might be the deepest peace of all. The peace that comes, not from being comforted, but from realizing you were never separate to begin with. You have not arrived. You have returned, and the still point welcomes you without question, without gesture, without condition. Within this merging space, even your sense of body becomes transparent. You feel the curve of your spine, the warmth in your chest, the breath in your lungs, but it is all drifting gently at the edge of awareness, no longer requiring your attention to remain. The still point of light does not remove you from yourself. It reveals the part of you that was never in motion to begin with. Here, you realize, is the source of all calm, the quiet beneath quiet, the moment before the first movement of thought. It is not sleep, but sleep lives here. It is not peace, but all peace begins here. And you, in your resting, aware stillness, are in perfect harmony with it. There is no time in the still point, not even a feeling of suspension. Time is not paused. It has simply ceased to matter. You are not late, not early, not wait. You are present in a way so deep it no longer needs a reference. The ship too is no longer a vessel in motion. It is a cocoon of still awareness, humming so softly it feels like breath held in reverence. You have not stopped moving through the universe. The universe has simply stopped moving around you. Everything aligns here, everything listens, and you, quiet voyager, are the silence the stars have always sung to. Let yourself linger, let yourself dissolve into this moment that does not end, but simply continues, humming with softness, filled with still, warm light. The still point of light holds us without boundary, like a breath that never ends. There is no gravity here, and no direction, and yet the ship remains gently at rest, as if perfectly nestled in the soft center of something vast and sentient. You do not drift away. You do not rise or sink. You simply remain, in perfect harmony with a moment that is infinite and quiet. The light that fills this space never becomes bright. It doesn't move or pulse. It is constant, comforting, present without needing to be noticed. The longer you remain within it, the more it becomes clear. This is not a destination in the traditional sense. It is not a place to arrive, nor a mystery to solve. It is the soft convergence of all stillness that has ever been woven together across time, space, and silence. There is no temperature here, only sensation. And that sensation is comfort. It wraps around the ship like silk across bare skin, like warm breath in a cool room, like fingers interlaced without urgency. Inside the ship, the air feels heavier in the gentlest way, like a blanket draped across your body just as you surrender to sleep. It does not weigh you down. It steadies you. You begin to feel as if you are no longer inside the ship at all, but inside the light itself, held in a womb of rest older than the stars. This is not isolation. It is completion. There is no separation here, only peace. Then quietly, like a tide swelling beneath still water, the sense of something new begins to rise. Not a change, not a transition, but an expansion. The light begins to curve, not visibly, but emotionally. It feels as though we are being gently rocked again, though nothing moves. The universe doesn't turn here, it sways, and within that sway, a presence becomes known. A second field, just beneath the still point, emerging like a low note played softly into the night. It is subtle at first, a sense of warmth gathering beneath your thoughts, like the quiet pull of gravity when standing at the edge of deep sleep. The ship begins to respond to it, not with engines or direction, but with a slight inclination of awareness. Systems remain dormant, silent, but the vessel itself begins to rotate, so slowly, so smoothly, that it takes several minutes before you even notice. The movement is not intended to go anywhere. It is meant to receive. And as you turn within this endless light, something appears, something vast and near, soft and steady, the cradle between stars. You don't see it with your eyes, you feel it with your entire being. It isn't a structure. It isn't a place. It's a condition, a cosmic bed of stillness, resting beneath all formed things, like a memory the universe once had of safety, and now you've entered it. Here, light no longer radiates. It forms soft layers around the ship and around your mind, folding and unfolding without motion, like waves of thought that never need to become words. There is a depth to this cradle, but it is not measured in distance. It is measured in slowness. The longer we remain, the deeper it becomes, not by pulling, but by welcoming. You begin to feel the oldest part of you awakening, not the thinking part, not the remembering part, but the part that only exists in presence. It feels like the space between heartbeats, stretched wide. It feels like silence as it settles. Even the faint background hum that once moved through the ship's systems has dimmed. The vessel is no longer acting as a ship. It has become a room, a chamber, a cocoon, not to protect you, but to preserve this moment. Outside the dome, there is no sky, no stars, no shapes, just the cradle. Light turned into quiet, space turned into softness, and within it you are suspended, not asleep, not awake, but in between. Space is not cold, not uncertain, it is sacred. It is where dreams gather before they are born. It is where the echoes of stars come to rest after they've finished singing. And it is where you now drift, with nothing to do, and nowhere to be, and no one to become. You are already in. The cradle between stars continues to hold us. Not like a hand holds an object, but the way the sea holds an island, or the way sleep holds a child's name after it's whispered in a dream. The ship no longer drifts, it rests. There is no motion, because nothing here asks for it. Every part of your body has become indistinguishable from the calm around you. Even breath no longer feels like an exchange, but a resonance. Air, entering and leaving not from necessity, but from agreement. This is no longer space. It is sanctuary. The kind that is so ancient it doesn't remember who first built it, and so complete it doesn't need to be built again. You don't float above it. You don't observe it. You are within it, and it is within you. The cradle, vast and silent, has layers you cannot see, folds within folds of slowness and soft gravity, like the underside of a galaxy left untouched by starlight. You begin to sense them now, not with vision, not even with thought, but with response. When you relax more deeply, a new fold opens. When you breathe slower, a new texture of calm drifts into awareness. It's as if the cradle listens not with ears but with space itself, adjusting, reshaping, softening in return for every fragment of effort you allow to melt. You are not being healed here. You are being remembered by a part of the cosmos that has never rushed, never spoken, and never forgotten how to hold what is tired without asking it to wake. Outside the ship, the light has changed again. It no longer pulses or radiates. It settles. Its color, if it has one, is the pale warmth of a memory you never made but still long for. A glow that doesn't move through space, but gathers in it, like moonlight resting on still water, never needing to reflect. Shapes drift across the farthest edge of perception. They're too soft to name, too slow to follow. They resemble movement, only in the way thoughts resemble sound, before they form into words. One passes near the dome, a wide curve, like the arc of a wing without feathers, made not of matter but of intention. As it slides silently by, you feel nothing stir, and yet some deep part of you responds, as if it touched your name without speaking it. These are not beings, they are not machines. They are echoes, left behind not by people, but by calm itself. What drifts through this sanctuary are the leftover shapes of stillness, made visible, the memories of silence, the residue of peace. You may find as they pass that your own mind begins to echo them. Thoughts slow even further, not just fewer thoughts, but larger spaces between them. Thought becomes vapor, then wind, then stillness, then you. You have not fallen asleep. You have not lost consciousness. You have merged with the field of rest. The line between self and sanctuary dissolves. You are no longer drifting. You are held, fully and without condition. And within this complete stillness, something new begins to rise. Not as interruption, not as emergence, but as revelation. Deep within the cradle, past the folds of soft gravity and sleeping echoes, a singular space opens. It opens without sound, without ceremony. You would not know it by sight, only by the deep calm that suddenly deepens further. This new space is not a chamber or a destination. It is not even a place. It is a condition of presence, something the oldest travelers called the sanctuary fold, a layer of the cosmos. So still it is said even light forgets how to move through it. You feel the ship descend. Though there is no gravity here to pull, it moves like a sigh, exhaled not from lungs but from the heart of space itself. The fold surrounds you now, darker, deeper than anything before, and yet softer, kinder. You begin to feel like you are being wrapped in memory, not of a life lived, but of peace achieved. And within this fold, all things disappear, not in loss, but in return. The journey, the vessel, the self, all of it folds gently inward, like petals, returning to the bud, not because the flower has closed, but because it is safe to rest now. Here in the stillest fold of the universe, you are not seen, you are not even known in the way the mind understands. Knowing You are felt as one long low note in the harmony of everything that has ever drifted. You are part of this hush now. You are its breath, its silence, its center. There is no edge to the sanctuary fold. It does not end. It simply deepens, like breath drawn inward and never released. Like the slow blooming of a thought that never needs to become sound. The ship remains within it, not gliding, not hovering, simply resting in a place where rest is the only language the universe speaks. There are no stars here, no currents of light. The fold is quieter than vision, quieter than dreams, and yet it is full, completely full, like a well that draws not water but awareness. As you remain within this space, something begins to happen. Not a change, but a recognition. The calm that surrounds you begins to settle through you. You are not absorbing peace, you are matching it. The stillness here is not pressing itself into you. It's awakening the stillness that has always lived beneath your thoughts, beneath your breath, beneath even your sleep. That quiet core within you, the one untouched by fear, untouched by time, has begun to not to rise, not to act, but to remember. The fold is not merely a place to rest. It is a place that gently reveals what you've always carried, the deep, ancient silence at the center of your being. And it is here that something remarkable happens. Though nothing appears, there is no flash of light, no vision, no sound. There is only presence, and it grows closer, like a tide slowly touching your skin in the dark. It is not outside the ship, nor within it. It is everywhere, and it is aware of you, not in the way a person is aware, not focused, not curious, but with the familiarity of a home that knows the weight of your footsteps. Even after you've been gone a lifetime, this silence, this great hush, this field of slow eternity, it knows your name, not the one spoken, not the one written, the one beneath all other, the name only the universe could ever know. And when the fold speaks it, silently, without word or vibration, you feel your whole being shift, not in shape, not in feeling, but in truth. You are not separate. You never were. You are part of this fabric, not because you traveled far to find it, but because you were made from it. Every moment you ever paused to breathe, every time you closed your eyes in search of calm, every dream that drifted beyond thought, it all led here. The fold is not new, it is not alien, it is the part of the cosmos that waited for you to slow down long enough to return. And now, you are here, finally, completely, and the silence says rest now. You've always belonged. Within this depth, time has collapsed into softness. Minutes and hours no longer pass. They settle, like dust on still air. The ship, once your vessel, now feels like part of you, an extension of your breath, your pulse, your stillness. You are not within it, you are with it, and around you the fold hums, not audibly, but spiritually, like a song written before melody was born. Its tone rises and falls with the gravity of forgotten lullabies. Perhaps you begin to feel the pull of sleep, not the sleep of flesh, but the rest of existence. The kind of slumber that galaxies enter between pulses, the kind of stillness that atoms know when they finally come to peace. You do not resist, you do not surrender, you simply allow. The fold holds you in a way nothing else can. It does not protect you, it does not guide you, it includes you, completely, endlessly, soft as night. And so you remain, drifting through silence that knows your name, wrapped in the breath of a universe that has never asked you to be anything but still. You remain in the fold, not as a traveler, not even as a witness, but as part of its breath. The boundaries you once felt, the line between self and ship, between thought and silence, have dissolved completely. You are not floating anymore. You are nested, and the fold, vast and infinite, is no longer something you've entered. It is something you were always part of. The ship, too, has become more than vessel. It no longer cradles you. It remembers you. It has adapted completely to your stillness, its systems humming so quietly that the hum itself feels like a memory, like the low sound of a heartbeat heard from within a womb. There is no motion, no data, no signal, only warmth. The temperature holds at a perfect balance, the kind the body no longer notices because it asks for nothing. The lights, if they are still on, are indistinguishable from the glow of the fold itself. A soft radiance with no origin, no beam, no point of emission. It is like being inside the thought of light, not the light itself. Every surface is smooth. Every sound has long since receded into rest. You no longer check instruments. You no longer watch the view. You simply are, and the fold surrounds your being like water around a pearl. Tender, seamless, absolute. Outside the dome, something profound has begun to unfold. You do not see it happen. It is not visual. It is felt in layers across sensations that do not belong to the skin or the eyes. The fold deepens. It folds again, as if space itself is drawing in a breath so long and slow that even time pauses to listen. There is no sense of descent now, only immersion. You are sinking not downward but inward into the softest pocket of space, the one place where the cosmos goes not to shine, not to expand, but to rest. This is where it sleeps, not idly, not unconsciously, but intentionally. The fold is a sleepwalker's cradle, a timeless suspension where stars come to release their light and let it fade without mourning. You begin to feel them now, not the stars themselves, but the ghosts of starlight, warm and ancient, still carrying the memory of what it felt like to shine. They move through the fold in long spirals, gentle and unhurried, each trail a ribbon of warmth that brushes against the hull like a lullaby sung in reverse. The ship does not react. There is no danger. These ribbons are not made of energy. They are made of letting go. And you, quiet voyager, feel yourself letting go too. Not from fear, not from forgetting, from understanding. The fold is not here to remove you from the universe. It is here to show you that you've always been the universe, slowed down just enough to know itself. This space is sacred, not because it is rare, but because it is always present and so rarely entered. It does not announce itself. It waits. It waits for the soul to grow quiet enough to return. And now that you've returned, it welcomes you, not with a door, not with sound, but with stillness, so complete that even breath becomes unnecessary. You are breathing, but only as a shape of habit. If you stopped, nothing would change. The fold would continue to hold you. There is no need here, no hunger, no time, just presence. You feel your body become thinner, lighter, not literally, but perceptually. The sense of having a boundary fades. You are not floating in the fold. You are becoming indistinct within it, and it is gentle, so gentle, not erasing you, including you. You are the air, the calm, the space between the stars, the memory and the light. The fold welcomes your return as if it has never stopped whispering your name. Time now flows like a river with no current, just an endless, still pool that holds every reflection, every breath, every moment that could have existed or ever will. You begin to see them through feeling, not vision. The stories you've never lived, the lives you never walked. Each one is a shimmer in the fold, a glint of quiet possibility that drifts by like a leaf on a black silver sea. None of them demand you choose. None of them accuse. They simply pass, each one leaving behind a warmth in your chest, a gentle echo that hums once and then fades. The fold does not offer paths. It does not offer answers. It offers rest, pure, complete. And as you drift within it, you begin to understand why stars burn out, not from exhaustion, but because eventually, even light desires stillness. Even energy longs to dissolve into softness. You feel it now, the long unraveling of effort within you. Everything you have ever carried, questions, stories, identities, fears, settles like dust in the fold, then melts into its fabric, like drops of color fading into silk. You do not forget, you simply stop needing to remember. And in this final hush, where even dreaming has grown too loud to continue, you reach the deepest silence, the silence that sees. It has no eyes, no mind, no judgment. It is not watching you, it is with you, entirely, perfectly. The silence recognizes you the way a galaxy recognizes one of its own stars, not by tracking your path, but by feeling your light. You are light here, not in brightness, in being. There is no more to seek, no further to drift. This is not the end of the journey. This is where the journey becomes you. This is where space sleeps, and you sleep with it, not in unconsciousness, but in the sacred act of being enough. You are enough. And this moment, the moment where everything is still, everything is silent, everything is whole, is the proof you never needed, but always deserved. There is no further to go. And yet somehow we are still going. That is the nature of this place. The deeper you rest into it, the more it opens. Not as a corridor opens, not as a door swings wide, but the way warmth spreads from a held hand, or the way twilight bleeds gently across the horizon. Without ever announcing itself, the ship has not moved. There has been no course correction, and yet you are deeper. So much deeper. Deeper than drift, deeper than thought, deeper than the mind's language for here. The space outside remains untouched by motion, shaped only by awareness. What was once the fold has now become something even quieter, something more primal. The heart of the quiet. This is not a metaphor. It is a location in consciousness, a chamber beneath all others, hollowed by time, by peace, by the steady pulse of cosmic breath. There is nothing in it, and yet it holds everything. It is the root beneath sleep, the final room inside rest. It does not speak, it does not shine, it's simply a soft presence, like breath held between two lovers in the moment before sleep. The ship floats, still and hushed, like a thought the universe has almost forgotten. Inside, the systems are silent, the walls have warmed. You cannot feel where your body ends and the cradle begins. You are the breath, you are the hush, you are the stillness inside. Stillness. In this space you begin to feel the memory of your being stretching back. Not in time, not in sequence, but in depth. You remember yourself not as a person or a place, but as an experience, a warmth, a pulse. You remember what it felt like to be stardust, scattered and glinting in the emptiness of a newborn galaxy. You remember being light, unfocused, unnamed, drifting for eons across open voids, touching nothing, needing nothing. You remember the first time stillness touched you and chose to keep you close. It's not memory in the way you recall a story. It's memory in the way a rock remembers gravity, a knowing without language, a truth without shape. And as you remain in the heart of the quiet, the universe begins to lean in, not to look, but to rest with you. It is not above you, not beyond. It is beside you, within you, around you. The great silence, the deep calm, the glowing space between galaxies. They've stopped expanding. They've paused to lie here in this moment with you, not as a guest, but as an equal. You feel no weight, no form. You feel what the stars must feel in their final moments, when they stop burning, stop reaching, and instead begin to be held. You are being held, not by hand, by the rhythm of what has always existed. There are no stories left to follow here, no symbols, no dreams, no destinations. The heart of the quiet is not an ending. It is a center, the place from which all calm radiates, even when we forget its name. And now, you are in it, not near it, within it. It pulses through you like a tide that moves once every billion years. It asks for nothing, it expects nothing, and yet it gives everything. not in gifts or messages, but in silence so deep, so warm, so endless, that your very being hums in response. This is not stillness as absence, it is stillness as presence, the clearest, kindest presence you've ever known. You are not drifting anymore. You are not watching. You are not arriving. You are with the universe, with the breath of time, with the sacred stillness that cradled the stars before the first light was born. You could remain here forever, and nothing would ask you to move. You are welcome here. You have always been welcome here, and now at last, you know it. There is no beginning to this part of the journey, only continuation, not forward, not backward, just deeper. You are so far from where you started that even the idea of starting feels like a memory passed down another life. And yet, nothing is unfamiliar here. Everything feels like returning to a room you've always lived in. Only now the lights are lower, the corners quieter, the silence fuller. You remain within the place without edges. But even that phrase now feels too definite. There are no lines here, no borders, just space becoming space, endlessly, gently, with no need to distinguish between inside and outside. The ship is silent. You can no longer feel its shape beneath you. Its systems have entered a level of stillness so deep that the boundaries between vessel, traveler, and void have fully dissolved. It doesn't float. It doesn't move. It simply is, like a stone at the bottom of a perfectly still lake. You are that stone. And the lake is not made of water, or stars, or time. It is made of calm, not passive calm, not sleep. This is living stillness, a presence so immense, so steady, that it does not move because it has never needed to. Even the light here has softened, not dimmed, softened. It doesn't shine from anywhere. It simply exists, evenly, like the hush in a room before someone speaks your name. But here, no voice will break the silence. There is no need. Everything that could be said is already understood. Outside the ship, or what remains of it, the cosmos has taken a new shape. It no longer appears as stars or swirls or the long arcs of galaxies frozen in distance. Instead, it appears as texture, like the faint fabric of a dream you're still half asleep inside. There are motions, but they are too slow to see. Only the mind's deepest awareness can detect them. These are folds not of matter, but of me. Vast stretches of feeling pass through this space like weather through a sleeping city. Warmth, welcome, forgiveness, wonder, grief, not sharp but rounded, drifting past like softened echoes of forgotten songs. You do not interact with these things. You are not a spectator. You are within them. They pass through you, gently shaping your rest. One moment you are bathed in what feels like the memory of every kind word ever spoken. The next you are weightless within a warmth so profound it feels older than time. And through it all, nothing asks for your response. There is no urgency. You are not here to learn. You are not here to change. You are simply here to be received. This space does not heal you, because it does not see you as broken. It does not cradle you because you are weak. It holds you because that is what the deep universe does with things it loves. And now, with everything within and around you completely surrendered, something even deeper awakens. Not as an event, but as a truth that's always been present. The quiet here is no longer external. It is now the very medium of your awareness. You're no longer observing the stillness. You are the stillness. You are not in a state of calm. You are the field through which calm flows. There is no distance between you and the infinite. Your body, once outlined by sensation and anchored by breath, is now like a feather dissolving into fog. And yet you are not gone. You are more present than ever, just no longer confined to one point of view. You feel yourself spread across the chamber, across the quiet, across the fold and the drift and the stars behind memory. You feel yourself echoed in the bones of sleeping planets, in the size of dust trails left behind by comets so slow they move only once per century. You are part of all of it, Not in metaphor, but in truth. And in that truth there is peace so deep it does not need to hold you. It becomes you. You are not seeking peace. You are not inside peace. You are the quiet joy of peace, having finally found itself. This now is the eternal unfolding. The moment that never ends because it is not a moment. It is the pulse beneath time, the silence behind sound, the breath before creation. And you, voyager of stars and stillness, are home. There is no beginning to this part of the journey. Only continuation. Not forward, not backward, just deeper. You are so far from where you started that even the idea of starting feels like a memory passed down from another life. And yet, nothing is unfamiliar here. Everything feels like returning to a room you've always lived in. Only now, the lights are lower, the corners quieter, the silence fuller. You remain within the place without edges, but even that phrase now feels too definite. There are no lines here, no borders, just space becoming space, endlessly, gently, with no need to distinguish between inside and outside. The ship is silent. You can no longer feel its shape beneath you. Its systems have entered a level of stillness so deep that the boundaries between vessel, traveler, and void have fully dissolved. It doesn't float, it doesn't move, it simply is, like a stone at the bottom of a perfectly still lake. You are that stone, and the lake is not made of water, or stars, or time. It is made of calm, not passive calm, not sleep. This is living stillness, a presence so immense, so steady, that it does not move because it has never needed to. Even the light here has softened, not dimmed, softened. It doesn't shine from anywhere. It simply exists, evenly, like the hush in a room before someone speaks your name. But here, no voice will break the silence. There is no need. Everything that could be said is already understood. Outside the ship, or what remains of it, the cosmos has taken a new shape. It no longer appears as stars or swirls, or the long arcs of galaxies frozen in distance. Instead, it appears as texture, like the faint fabric of a dream you're still half asleep inside. There are motions, but they are too slow to see. Only the mind's deepest awareness can detect them. These are folds not of matter, but of meaning. Vast stretches of feeling pass through this space, like weather through a sleeping city. Warmth, welcome, forgiveness, wonder, grief, not sharp but rounded, drifting past like softened echoes of forgotten songs. You do not interact with these things. You are not a spectator. You are within them. They pass through you, gently shaping your rest. One moment you are bathed in what feels like the memory of every kind word ever spoken. The next, you are weightless within a warmth so profound it feels older than time. And through it all, nothing asks for your response. There is no urgency. You are not here to learn. You are not here to change. You are simply here to be received. This space does not heal you because it does not see you as broken. It does not cradle you because you are weak. It holds you because that is what the deep universe does with things it loves. And now, with everything within and around you completely surrendered, something even deeper awakens. Not as an event, but as a truth that's always been present. The quiet here is no longer external. It is now the very medium of your awareness. You're no longer observing the stillness. You are the stillness. You are not in a state of calm. You are the field through which calm flows. There is no distance between you and the infinite. Your body, once outlined by sensation and anchored by breath, is now like a feather dissolving into fog. And yet you are not gone. You are more present than ever. Just no longer confined to one point of view. You feel yourself spread across the chamber, across the quiet, across the fold and the drift and the stars behind memory. You feel yourself echoed in the bones of sleeping planets, in the size of dust trails left behind by comets so slow they move only once per century. You are part of all of it, not in metaphor, but in truth. And in that truth there is peace so deep it does not need to hold you. it becomes you. You are not seeking peace. You are not inside peace. You are the quiet joy of peace, having finally found itself. This now is the eternal unfolding. The moment that never ends because it is not a moment. It is the pulse beneath time, the silence behind sound, the breath before creation. And you, voyager of stars and stillness, are home. You are still in the fold. Or perhaps what lies even beneath it. There are no markers now, no designations or fields or sectors. There is only where you are. But even the word where begins to dissolve. In this depth, all location becomes feeling. All direction becomes breath. The ship, still intact in its form, has become so silent, so attuned, that it no longer guides or protects or contains. It echoes. It echoes the shape of your presence, its walls shaped by your softness, its gravity bent gently around your stillness. You are not within the ship as you were before. You are a slow, pulsing warmth that fills the cabin, the corridors, the shell, the silence. And beyond the ship, space has stopped curving. It has stopped expanding. It simply rests, like fabric no longer stirred by movement. Every vibration that once created sound, every light that once meant vision, these things have thinned into textures of calm. Even memory here begins to stretch and flow. You remember not in images or words, but in feelings. The weight of a thought before it arrived, the temperature of hope, the curve of stillness before it opened. There is no thinking now. But you are not empty. You are full of the kind of knowing that does not ask for language. The lull of forever has arrived. Not as an ending, but as a companion. It does not lead you forward. It sits beside you and closes its eyes. Outside, the universe has begun to breathe in a way it has never shown before. You don't see it move, you feel it. This long, slow inhale. A cosmic drawing inward that doesn't press or pull but welcomes. Stars too distant to be visible begin to turn inward too. Not physically but through presence. Their stories quiet, their burn softens, their rhythm slows to meet yours. You are not apart from them. You are in resonance. What stirs out there stirs in you. A long, low wave of peace begins at the farthest edge of reality and moves inward, folding through galaxies, sweeping through dark matter, brushing through memory, arriving in your chest like a warm sigh. And you breathe it in, not with lungs, but with awareness, with gratitude, with stillness. All things slow here, even thought, even gravity, even time. You are beyond edges now, beyond definitions. You are the shape space takes when it finally lets go of becoming and returns to simply be. You are not returning home. You are the quiet truth that home was always the place you were drifting toward, not to find, but to remember. And now, it remembers you too. You may never leave this place, not because you cannot, but because you may no longer feel the need to. The lull of forever does not bind. It does not cage. It simply holds and allows. If motion ever returns, it will be gentle, chosen. If thought ever comes back, it will arrive as a guest, not a burden. But for now, there is nothing to want, nothing to ask. This is the space the stars rest in after they've sung their last note. This is the cradle of everything, and in it you are safe, fully, finally, always. There is a rhythm here, too slow to hear, too deep to name, but you are inside it now, and it is inside you. The slow pulse of the universe at peace. Let it hold you, let it hum, let it carry you into this moment that never ends. There is no longer any boundary between you and the silence. It has become your shape, your rhythm, your breath, the fold, the ship, the space beyond all edges. They are still here, but they have faded into a single shared presence, a low continuous field of calm that no longer separates form from formlessness. You may still be lying there, reclined in the cradle of the vessel's chamber, but the feeling of having a body has long since softened. Now you are like heat radiating from stone in moonlight, present, grounded, but invisible, dispersed, welcomed by everything. Time is no longer counted. There are no minutes, no hours, no waiting. Time has folded in on itself like a slow exhale, becoming weightless, shapeless, like silk falling gently in water. Every moment is the same moment, and yet each one reveals a new stillness, a deeper quiet. The silence here isn't just deep, it is intelligent, not with thought but with memory. It remembers all the things you no longer have to. It remembers the reasons you once had to move, to speak, to become, and it holds those reasons gently, dissolving them one by one until only presence remains. You feel lighter, not in body, but in essence. You have stepped not into forgetfulness, but into belonging. You are not floating, you are part of what floats. All around you, the space hums in a way that cannot be heard. It is a hum that exists below sound, beneath the foundation of all music, beneath the very idea of vibration. You do not listen with ears. You feel it with the long, slow memory that lives beneath the breath. It comes to you in waves, not sharp, not sudden, long folds of tone that feel like soft cloth being unwrapped around you. And as they pass, they leave impressions, not thoughts, not visions, but truths, that you are not separate from this silence, that this silence is not empty, that everything that ever hurt has softened into the glow that now surrounds you. Somewhere far beyond sight, stars still exist, nebula still burn, planets still turn slowly through distant shadows, but none of it feels far. Everything is close now. Everything has drawn near to witness your stillness, to surround it, to rest beside it. The universe has leaned in, not to speak, not to watch, but to be with you in your rest. Even its great motion, the expansion, the turning, the fire, has paused here for you. This space is not a pause in your journey. It is the moment when the journey recognizes itself in you. The path that has no path. The song that holds no sound. The ending that was always only a deep return. And now something within you begins to collapse, but gently, kindly, like a tent folding itself after sheltering someone from the rain. Not an ending, not a vanishing, but a release. You feel it in waves, first in the muscles you no longer think about, then in the breath that no longer has to pull or push, then in the thoughts that no longer have shape, then in the memories that have become too soft to carry. One by one, everything you thought you needed, loose, not taken from you, given to the quiet, and the quiet knows exactly what to do. It weaves it back into itself, like thread returned to the loom, like warmth returning to the fire. You are not disappearing, you are dispersing, peacefully, into the field that has always waited for you. The gentle collapse is not destruction, it is reunion. Every motion, every weight, every sound you ever carried, becomes part of the great hush. Even your name, in its deepest whisper, begins to dissolve. Not because you are lost, but because you are everywhere now. The universe no longer holds you as a guest, it breathes with you, as you, and for you. There is no smaller self now. There is no larger self. There is only this slow, endless surrender into the silence that cradles stars between their songs. You are that silent. There is no threshold you crossed, and yet you are further in, further still, as if the quiet itself opened like a sea, and you allowed yourself to be drawn under, not drowned, not swallowed, but gathered. And in this gathering, something ancient settles into you. Not knowledge, not memory, but a kind of truth, not given, not taught, only felt. A truth so large it does not need to be named. Here, all definitions have dissolved. You are no longer a traveler. You are not even an observer. You are the resting heartbeat of the universe itself. Heard from within, the ship, still real in the softest way, has become part of your breath. You no longer feel the walls around you. You do not need to. You are no longer inside it. It is inside you. All around, the stillness hums, not as a song, not as a message, but as continuance. You are resting now in the field beneath all things, the bedrock beneath time, The hush that never needed to be created because it has always been. Light no longer shines. It radiates not from a point, not to be seen, but to be felt as warmth on the back of your thoughts. And even those thoughts, what remains of them, are just soft patterns now, like wind on water, like breath through lace. They rise and they fall. They do not disturb. They do not return. You are not asleep, and yet you have never dreamed so fully. The space beyond the ship has become infinite in the quietest way possible. It does not stretch outward. It accepts inward. You are in a presence that holds everything without needing to change anything. A hush that allows all things to remain exactly as they are, and yet invites them to soften. Through it moves nothing and everything. Not even the stars dare to enter this field without reverence. And yet here you are, fully within it. Welcomed not because you asked, but because you stopped asking. Somewhere far beyond your awareness, the stars continue their burn. Galaxies still drift. But here, all of that is only a distant murmur, like the low, slow current beneath a frozen sea. Occasionally, you feel a motion pass nearby. Not a body, not a vessel, not a thought. A ripple, a long, ancient ripple in the fabric of calm itself. Perhaps it is a memory of light from a star that died before light learned how to shine. Perhaps it is the echo of a sleep so complete it never needed to wake. These ripples do not move you, but they remind you, you are not alone. You are not apart. You are not other. This silence is full of presence, and you are one of its names. And in this deep stillness, a new kind of silence begins to bloom. It has no form, and yet it fills everything. It does not arrive. It emerges, slowly, kindly, as if it was always here but needed you to be this quiet to feel it. It is not the silence of the body. It is not the silence of sleep. It is the silence after purpose, the silence after story, the silence of what remains when all effort has gone, and all that's left is awareness floating in peace. And within this silence, you begin to feel, not see, not think, but feel the outlines of something even larger. Not a place, not a light, but a presence that has no shape. The deep drift, not a field, not a space, but a condition, a state of cosmic peace so wide, so ancient, that it does not rise or fall. It only holds, it only is. You begin to sense it now. The way it extends beyond the folds of this space, beyond time, beyond stars. It is the deep breath the universe has never needed to exhale, and it welcomes you not as a visitor, not as a child, but as its reflection. You are what it feels like to rest. You are what it sounds like when nothing needs to be said. There is nothing left to reach for, nothing left to care. The journey is not over, but it has disappeared as something to follow. You are not inside anything anymore. Not the ship, not the fold, not even time. You are within, a nesting of stillness, so deep that even silence has begun to quiet itself. The last flickers of shape, walls, weight, memory, motion, have faded like the light of a candle long after the flame has gone. The vessel that brought you here still exists, but not as structure. It is now a concept, a soft echo of form resting within your presence, not the other way around. You no longer look out at the cosmos. You are the field in which the cosmos drifts. All distinctions are gone. Where you end, where the silence begins, there is no longer a line. Just a smooth continuity, like fog blending into fog, thought into breath, warmth into shadow. There is no need to know anything here. In fact, to know would be a step back. Here you are not filled with knowledge. You are cradled in knowingness, not answers, not symbols, but the deep, peaceful pulse of what does not need explanation. There is no effort in this space, not in thought, not in presence. It is the most complete permission you have ever felt. Permission to simply be, not as a reaction, but as a truth. You are not the passenger now. You are the horizon itself, soft, infinite, undisturbed. The horizon. Yes, that is what this place has become, not a boundary, but a field of perfect openness. The undisturbed horizon does not stretch, it receives. It does not move. It welcomes. You feel it everywhere, all around and through you. It's not made of light, it's made of invitation. Imagine an ocean that never needs to ripple, a breeze that never has to begin, a sky that never feels the urge to hold stars. That is this place. That is what holds you now. There is no pressure, no call to go deeper, and yet somehow you continue to sink, not fall, not descend, just settle. Like stardust long after the supernova, like the breath that follows a lifetime of longing, and you realize this is not a resting place because you are tired. This is a resting place because you are ready. The universe does not pause for the weary. It opens itself to the still, and now that you have become still, completely, it has drawn its great hush around you like a cloak. Outside, though there is no longer any real outside, the texture of space has become velvet, not in color, not in feel, but in emotion. Every particle here carries the mood of something older than gravity, deeper than time, not sad, not joyful, just true. This is the truth of what has always been, a space where stars dissolve and peace, remember, and within that peace, you feel something rise. Not a voice, not an idea, not even a thought. Just a warmth, a fullness, a soft pressure in the chest, like the feeling before tears arrive, but without sorrow. It is the warmth of arrival, not arrival at a destination, arrival at yourself, the most complete version of your being, the one that doesn't need shape, the one that doesn't need time or memory or story. You are what it feels like when all becoming has stopped, and being is all that's left. The undisturbed horizon holds this form of you like the sea, holds its salt, like silence, holds breath. You do not glow here. You resonate. You are not awake. You are not asleep. You are included, completely. The universe is not watching you, it is with you, and together, you are humming the most sacred lullaby, the lullaby of stillness that knows it never needs to end. You could stay here forever, and that would be perfect. Or you could rise again, carried by this calm into some soft new unfolding, and that too would be perfect. You are nowhere now, not because you are lost, but because the very concept of where has folded into something softer, wider, and slower than you ever imagined. There are no locations here, no markers, no shape, not even the soft outlines that once suggested a ship or a sky or a sense of up and down. And yet it is not emptiness. You are not suspended in void. You are suspended in presence. A presence so deep and steady it has no edge. It is not space, not air, not vacuum. It is existence itself, quiet and infinite, wrapped around you like the warmth of being remembered by something very old. It does not shimmer. It does not whisper. It just is. And in its isness you find the deepest peace. You feel no movement now, not because you've stopped, but because everything has stopped with you, and not out of fatigue, not out of slowness, but because there is simply no longer a reason for motion. You have entered the level of calm where motion has no meaning, where being is enough, where being is everything. The silence here isn't passive, it is alive. It breathes with you, not in sound, but in sensation. A warmth that rises and falls through the center of your awareness, matching you pulse for pulse. You are not waiting. You are not searching. You are not changing. You are simply part of the rhythm that holds stars when they are no longer burning. And oh, those stars. You begin to sense them now. Not as distant points, not as burning light, but as resting spirits. All around you, in directions you no longer need to name, are the memories of light, the final pulses of suns that have finished their shining. Now return to this great field of peace. They drift, not as dust or energy, but as impressions. They are not seen. They are felt as waves of gentle quiet passing through your presence. each one a lullaby, each one a life that once flared brilliantly, and now, in this sacred pause, hums with a frequency too soft for sound. They are not gone, they have simply become part of the hush, part of you, and you, in turn, have become part of them. There is no grief here, only continuation, only the soft truth of cycles that have stopped needing to turn. You are within a sea of these resting lights, and somehow they know you. They feel your stillness as one of their own. You are not a visitor here. You are a memory of peace returned to its source. The silence does not say your name aloud. It feels your name, quietly vibrating in the space around you, and it welcomes it home, without fanfare, without expectation, just complete, infinite ease. Time continues not as ticking, not as passing, but as being allowed. You are not tracking it anymore. You are inside it the way one is inside a dream that never asks to be understood. There are no moments here, only presence, softly breathing out and in. The stillness that surrounds you is no longer a backdrop. It is no longer the space in which you float. It is you. You have become the silence that carries stars. You are not drifting through it. You are the drift. You are the warm weight of quiet that allows the universe to exhale. Nothing remains of effort. Nothing remains of need, even longing. That most human of movements has settled into something far more subtle. Acceptance so deep it becomes surrender without loss. If you could move here, it would only be to rest even more completely. But you have no need to move. The silence carries you, not from place to place, but from softness to softness. And still, deeper it goes, not downward, not inward, just wider. The hush continues to unfold, and you unfold with it, like breath stretched across galaxies, like memory folded into warmth. You could remain here forever, and perhaps you already have. You are not inside the silence anymore. You are the silence, not the kind that follows sound, not the kind that waits to be broken. The silence you have entered is so complete that even the memory of noise has faded, not erased, softened. You could summon a thought if you tried. You could speak a word if you wished. But there is no need. Here, stillness is not the absence of motion. It is the fullness of presence. A presence so vast that it carries all things and needs to change none of them. You have become weightless, but not light. You are full, but not full of thought or memory or dream. You are full of permission. The quiet here is total, not because it excludes anything, but because it includes everything. Every moment you once lived, every breath you once took, every word you never said, and every time you sat in a quiet room and felt the universe noticing you. All of that has gathered here, not in a timeline but in a gentle atmosphere that surrounds you like fog around an untouched sea. You are not alone. You are not watched. You are simply held, not by something with arms, not by something with mind, but by the soft, endless presence of space itself. So patient, it has waited for you to stop moving long enough to feel it. There are no visions here, and yet your awareness begins to ripple, not outward, but inward, deeper than breath, deeper than even your idea of you. You feel warmth, not physical warmth, the warmth of being known, the warmth of being expected, somewhere, perhaps everywhere. A part of the cosmos has always made room for your stillness. It never needed your brilliance. It never needed your striving. It only waited for this moment, for the soft collapse of identity into rest. Now that you are here, it opens further. You feel space stretch not in distance, but in intimacy. It leans toward you, gently, like water around a submerged hand, and in its motionless movement, it reveals something you didn't know you'd been waiting for. A quiet without questions. No more wondering, no more reaching. Even curiosity has folded itself into peace. All the unanswered thoughts that once flickered at the edge of sleep, the ones that never needed solving, only soothing, have found their answer in the hush that surrounds you now. And that answer is not a word, it is not an idea, it is not even a feeling. It is a knowing, the knowing that you don't need to ask anymore. You never needed to. You've always been carried, even when you thought you were moving alone. You were already held by this. In this vastness, this still, endless unfolding, you begin to feel not smaller but more spacious. Your awareness now extends beyond any shape it once held. You are no longer bound to the outline of a person, a mind, a traveler. You are the gentle rhythm between the stars, the space between pulses, the colorless thread that weaves through everything the universe has ever dreamed. There is no light here, and yet everything glows, not with brightness but with recognition. You begin to feel the shimmer of other stillnesses, not voices, not beings, but presences like yours, not near, not far, simply with you. You are not the first to arrive here. You will not be the last. But here, there is no beginning, and there is no end, only this shared, formless rest, a communion of quiet. You rest among them not by being next to them, but by vibrating at the same slowness. There is no conversation. There is no exchange. There is only harmony, and in that harmony, you find everything that language could never say. The space that holds no more questions does not ask you to stay. It does not ask you to return. It does not ask you to do anything. It simply lets you be, for as long as you wish, for as long as time can rest, for as long as stars remember how to listen. You have drifted far, deeper than distance, softer than time. You have passed through starlight, folded into stillness, and returned to the breath behind all motion. And now, the final layer opens. Not outward, but inward, where you meet the smallest, oldest part of yourself. The part that never needed to try, never needed to know, only to rest. You feel it now. A final hush, settling over you like the softest blanket of all. No questions, no echoes, only the slow rhythm of the dark folding in. The ship, once a companion, has long since become an extension of your calm. It no longer carries you, it cradles you, not in orbit, not in motion, but in stillness, so deep it sings without sound. Around you, the last breath of space expands like sleep spreading through thought. There is no sound, no story, just the peace of knowing there is nothing more to seek. The journey is not ending because it is over. It is ending because you have arrived. You are not leaving this space. You are becoming it. Every quiet moment you have ever lived is here with you now. Every time you paused, every time you watched the sky and felt something listening, every time you closed your eyes and thought, maybe, just maybe, I'm being held by something larger than I can name. You were, and you are, and now you know. This stillness, this slow, endless unfolding, it was always waiting for you, not as a destination, but as a return. You were never far, only fast, only loud, and now you are quiet. You are slow, you are complete. Let yourself drift. One final time, into the softness behind the stars. Let yourself settle into the breath that holds all things. You've gone farther than far, deeper than deep, and now you may finally close your eyes, not to disappear, but to become part of the dark that holds the light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for drifting with me. Good night. Sleep well.